Hey guys, welcome back to Weeb101, and today we have a fun topic that all of us are really excited for. We are going to talk about, say,
Bakuman!
Bakuman. Ode!
Bakuman.
Exactly. And this is something very close to our hearts. We've read this a long time ago, I think, and we've been following it and rereading it ever since, and it's
Oh yeah.
really inspired us a lot. So today we're going to talk about Bakuman. And for those of you who don't know, Bakuman is made by the same guys who made Death Note, and it is so different from Death Note you would not even believe that it's
Yeah.
the same guys who made it. It's
Yep.
it's seriously
Namely
amazing.
Takeshi Obata and Tsugumi Oba.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
this is a very special manga, and we shall explain why in as we go further. But I am going to tell you right now, we're going to be talking about the ending for sure.
For sure.
Spoiler alert, it has been years, so I hope you read it or watch it. Both are
And if you
recommended.
haven't, stop right now, go read it, binge read that shit and come back and listen to this.
And listen to our Death Note podcast so you know what type of stuff we're going to talk about, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, let's start, boys. When did we read Bakuman? Sid, why don't you go first?
So I read Bakuman in 2000, the end of 2011, because we met in the beginning, right? When we used to go
Yeah,
for Japanese class.
yeah,
So I think that's when I never read manga before that, right? I just used to watch anime.
yeah.
And you told me about, and I think I watched Death Note and then I read Death Note, and then you told me, and then did you read Bakuman before me? I don't know,
I think so
or did
because
we read at the same time?
I think
Because
I, I think I read it before you because I was remember talking to you about it and
yeah,
you
and then I
hadn't
was
seen
like,
it.
oh, a manga about a manga, that's interesting. I'll check it out, and then I just binge read that shit. I don't know how many days. That was adventure, dude. One of my favorite mangas still now. No joke.
Yeah, it's actually pretty short as well,
Hmm.
so you can binge read
Yeah.
it. So
Exactly.
if you guys don't want spoilers, you should go binge read it right away. Anyway, Ode,
Yeah.
where did you read Bakuman?
I think I read Bakuman around 2014 because this was I think a couple of years after you introduced me to manga,
One
and
Piece.
you'd seen that I had gotten a deep interest in One Piece, and you're starting to suggest one by one to read Bleach, Naruto, and all the more famous ones. But then you had suggested Bakuman just to kind of get an idea of what the whole manga industry is all about and kind of understand the manga genre a bit more. So yeah, I think around 2014, 2015 ish.
Did you hear that, guys? For every five recommendations I make, Audi reads one. That is what we shall take from that instead of 2014. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway,
Hey, as long as the one was Bakuman, right?
yeah. It was a good story. Yes, out of and disappointment, he read Bakuman, which was really good and not a disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. For those who like Naruto and Bleach, I'm just talking about the endings, nothing else. Don't worry, I still love
I
those
think
to a good
Bakuman
extent.
still is one of the mangas with the best endings that left me totally satisfied.
Yes, Bakuman has a good ending. My God, it is.
Exactly.
I'm not even going to get into Haikyuu right now because that's the
I
only thing I
think
can think of.
don't talk about Haikyuu yet. I think compared to the manga and anime like we've watched and read over the years, I think good is an understatement. Bakuman has a great
Yeah, that's
ending, I
true.
would say.
That's
Yeah,
true. But also, you have to even Death Note had a beautiful ending. So
of
those guys
course.
really know how to write endings.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they're geniuses.
before we go off on a tangent, why do we like Bakuman? Sid, you start.
So the reason we like before okay, I'm gonna talk about when I first started reading Bakuman, like my first read, right? So the
Yeah,
main reason I like Bakuman is because of how much at that we read it in 2011, right? And when
yeah.
we read it, we were young. I won't say like young because we are still young, but
I
you
mean, we were
understand like
younger. Yeah, we were much
yeah
younger
we were
comparatively.
just starting out like college,
Yeah,
and we still had like the we can do anything, let's do stuff. You remember we used to
yeah,
meet together and try to figure out what we're going to make. We didn't care about the world and all.
yeah,
And I think when you start reading Bakuman, it gives you that similar feeling of you versus the world. You can do whatever you want.
yeah.
You don't have to like go with society and get a job and all. You can just like try anything and succeed at it. And I think at that stage we kept doing that.
Yeah, especially because I think to add on to your point, especially because India has a very
Mhm.
similar social concept compared to Japan,
Mhm.
so we
Yeah,
could relate to it
exactly.
a lot more than say somebody from the West.
Yeah, we could relate to it a lot. Like I think getting a I'll go off on a small tangent. I think like if we talk about getting a job, right? Like
Yeah,
I think like even the thought of like working in a company makes me depressed, I
yeah.
can't even do that. That's why I haven't gotten like a proper job yet. But
Don't be
still,
fooled. Sid is still an
uh-huh.
animator. He still works on projects he likes. He
Freelance.
just can't work in an office.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, and India has the similar hierarchy to like Japanese offices, I think, where until you have to, where you have to obey a boss, and they're not as friendly. It's more of like a hierarchical thing,
Yeah, and you can't
I would
leave until
say.
your boss leaves. You have to stay there even if your work is finished.
Exactly, and overtime and all, and
Yeah,
that since you have some exposure in the advertising industry, you have a good idea about that, bro.
yeah. Fair
So
idea.
because of that, I think we resonated with the manga and the story a lot, and we wanted to follow these characters. In a way, we wanted to like we wanted it for ourselves also as
Yeah.
for the characters, because I think we'll talk about it later, but we can talk about this now. We started a manga, I remember, after reading Bakuman instantly.
I don't think we should tell them about that. It
they'll
boosts our
never they'll never
popularity too
see
much.
it. No, they'll never see it, but we spent months and months like coming up with a proper story, and
Yeah.
then I started drawing it, but it was shit, so it'll never see the light of day. But
What did
we
we
actually,
name it? I don't remember what we named it.
I don't know, dude. I don't remember the name, but it was about the animal islands and all. I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Animal
it was,
Islands. I don't remember this.
Ade, you do not. We shall tell you in personal chat after this
yeah. We
Uh-huh.
should tell you
podcast
Oh
is
my
personally.
over.
god.
We can't
Okay.
reveal trade secrets. It's our
Yes,
award-winning
yes, yes.
manga.
Of
Yeah,
course.
the genius of our genius stories cannot be let out into the
Yeah.
world just yet.
Yeah.
We've sent a copy to Oda. We're expecting serialization any day now.
Yeah. But I think that's why since we are going through that phase and we are reading Bakuman that time, and that's we were getting introduced to manga. We actually learned what mangakas and the world of manga and how the whole industry works and everything was all about.
Yeah.
Because I think I at least was still trying to get into the creative field. I think so were you. So I think that also helped us a lot. And I think we read it if I still read it, I'm gonna still love it. But I
Hmm.
think us reading it at that stage in life at that point and how the story and the characters were, I think that's the reason I like it the most. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think,
it's very influential at that time, right?
yeah.
So
Exactly.
when we were
And
younger, we are more influenced by it.
Yeah.
plus, I think I can speak for all of us that when we were in school, we didn't really like to focus on our studies that much, and we were just influenced by this thing, cartoons, and generally a lot of things that normal kids wouldn't like. We were very much into them, and that's one of the reasons probably why.
Yeah, not like other kids.
Yeah, not like the
Uh-huh.
other kids. But yeah, right. I mean, the main characters also do the exact same thing. They weren't satisfied with the fact that they were just going to study and go into this thing into a mainstream line of work. Instead, they wanted to do something out of the box, and I think we've been also wanting to do something like that ever since we were kids as well. And
And that
this,
is why this podcast got started.
mm,
Yep.
and yeah, this manga is kind of runs on the same frequency with us, which is also why we like it.
Yeah, I mean that's very understandable because it's like we're living a life through the characters.
Mm.
We're not just stuck
Living
in
the
our
life
own
that
boring.
we could have gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if we want to draw
I don't
comics
say
in
we could
India,
have
Yeah,
gotten.
we
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
I think it's much easier than drawing comics in Japan.
yeah.
Like there they have a standard. Here we don't really have a standard as far as I
We
know.
don't have a standard, and I think even though like if I talk about me, like even if I'm not in that field, I still feel like I relate to that in some way
Mm.
because it's in the similar area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But I mean, animation, and you're basically doing the next step of manga anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Also, just I think Bakuman has a lot of ideal situations in it. They
Mm-hmm.
have the ideal friendships, they have the ideal relationships, they have
Mm.
the ideal work. They have everything. Everything is just an ideal. It's a very utopian
It's
manga, so to
Yeah,
speak.
exactly.
Everything is perfect, everything is nice. Even the trouble they have aren't really. Like, I'm pretty sure there must be so many people who want to make manga in Japan who are not able to afford food and are struggling really badly. But in
It's
the manga,
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
all like, oh, we lost serialization. We'll get another one. It's not a problem.
No, but they were showing like the top of the top, right, in the
Yeah,
manga. they weren't showing, because there even now there are so many mangakas like who like no one has even read their mangas or seen, and they're like working hard every
Yeah.
day
No, but
for
they do
published and
touch up
stuff.
about how some mangas are not popular and those guys are still attempting to do it.
Of course, yeah,
So,
you're
but yeah,
always trying. I think if we'll talk about later about the mangakas, because even they had their own journey where they
yeah,
suffered a lot. But yeah,
I'm
but yeah,
pretty
I'm
sure
saying it's
the competitive spirit that is displayed throughout the whole manga is does happen in real
mm,
life, right?
yeah,
Between like,
it. I don't think it happens to the same extent though.
yeah, it doesn't
are you
happen.
sure?
It's
Like, is it because the way
it
they
varies by industry, I would say, like
because
because
the
it's a
way they
different
displayed
field.
when they first got serialized, the way they
Mhm.
displayed like the ranking system, it felt like it could happen IRL, and it kind of does feel that it's very cutthroat, seeing as how every mangaka's end game is going to be Jump or the top 10 of Jump, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
but
it happens, but I don't
yeah,
think of the
but
same. I
I would
don't.
say
It's possible.
if you if you're in like in a if in another industry, but like if you work in a normal company, like but making a manga or on your own and achieving something, I think personally I think will get you much more happiness than your company that you work in achieving something, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I was going to say like the story feels a lot more. It feels
Hold
shonen
on,
while
hold
it
on. We'll
isn't.
go to the story.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah.
still have a this thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just realized something. Oh, I didn't record any of this in Audacity, so my voice is gonna be like this throughout. Anyway, yeah, so it's a very ideal manga, right? It has all the things that you would dream of as a kid, and I think that's what brought us more into it because we're like, oh, I want a world where I can do whatever
Exactly.
job I want.
Yeah.
I want a
Yeah.
relationship like that. I
Yeah.
want to do something like, and that makes you feel a lot better about your life. It's like, yes, I can do it. But well,
Yeah,
we
it
all
gives
know
you
that
that
was a lie.
motivation.
Time flies by,
Audi
and
and I
people
are
like us.
rereading Bakuman, and we're almost done with it right before this podcast. So
Yeah.
we know it's a lie again because we still are not doing much with life.
There is
But
still hope, guys.
There is still hope.
Sid is the only productive member of society amongst us. So
Hmm.
please listen to
Well, I
him.
wouldn't say that, but okay.
Anyway, yeah. So
Hmm.
as we move on to the story, because Audi got really excited for it either way.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Audi,
Odi can
what?
start us
Yeah,
off.
Audi,
Yeah.
what do you think of the story?
Uh, I think it seemed very shonen while it wasn't, right. It held on to its reality factor like crazy while having like the ups and downs of a shonen story, like One Piece, for example. If throughout the entire arc there will be hits and misses with the villain, but then it'll just conclude with one big fight between the two enemies. Similarly here between uh, Mashiro,
Yeah, Mashiro.
Yeah.
Muto in this case, Muto and Nizuma Eiji. There will be conflicts like this all the time, and while throughout reading Bakuman, you'll feel very closely related to them because it feels like a real life story. But then when these conflicts do end up happening, it's like a mind blowing conflict, right? And it's something that you can only imagine would happen in a shonen manga, like classically shonen manga like One Piece. So that's why I like. That's why the story is very good because it's one of a kind so far, if you will.
Well, Audi, I'm glad you said it was very realistic, and I'm going to steal this point away from Sid and be the one to say it. It's actually based on a lot of real life stories.
My God. Yeah, it is based on a lot of real life stories.
Ah,
And one more
nice.
thing I wanted to tell you, since Audi mentioned it before you say anything, bro. You talked about how it feels shonen, but it's not really shonen, right?
Yeah,
So I think Obata,
yeah.
Takeshi Obata, the artist, he he is the one who apparently started non-battle shonen genre
Oh, wow.
with his
Non-battle.
first manga. Yeah.
Huh.
Which manga is that?
Damn.
I think it was called Hikaru no Go. It was a manga about the game Go.
Okay.
And it was basically his breakout. It was one of his most popular mangas. His most popular manga. It got a film. It got an anime of like a 70 something episodes. So
Whoa.
people like people in Japan, I think most like I've read, I'm not sure, but they say they found out about Obata through Hikaru no Go, and they
Wow.
apparently hired like a professional Go player, I think Yukari Umezawa, yeah, to for production to learn about the techniques and everything. Yeah. But he
He
still
went in
worked with
depth, huh?
another writer. Yeah, he still worked with another writer. I think
Yumi
Yumi
Hotta.
Hota.
Huh.
Yeah, Yumi Hota. Yeah.
Oh, they went
But
next level, huh? Real
that
in
was
depth
his
about that.
break, yeah. But apparently they say he invented the non-battle shonen genre, which you see right now in a lot. Like if you talk about the latest ones, like Promise Neverland and stuff, it's
Yeah.
pretty shonen, but very
Promise Neverland, I
psychological.
think it's not the best thing, right? Because it's
I was just talking about
too
something
chunk.
new that I could
I
remember
would say
that
something like
fits there.
Kakegurui,
Kakegurui, sure.
because it's
I would
trying.
call Kakegurui a meme, but okay.
No, but it follows the same ideology. It tries to be shonen, but it doesn't really have battles. It has
Yeah, yeah,
card games instead.
Would
yeah.
sports manga fall under the shonen category,
It
or would they
depends
I
be
on
their
think
own
so.
category?
anything
I
that's
think
published in Jump falls under the shonen category.
Huh.
Haikyuu is pretty shonen, and it's
Yeah,
also
that's true.
like
Haikyuu is
sports.
shonen.
Yeah.
Ugh, Haikyuu.
My God.
If you guys don't know what's going on, why I hate Haikyuu, when I actually used to love it quite a while ago, please go check out our very first episode titled Haikyuu, where I find a spoiler right at the end of our
Thanks
podcast,
to
and
me.
thanks to Sid, and it ruined Haikyuu for me forever. It's a real fun episode. You should check it out.
Haha.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
So,
mean, Death Note doesn't have that much action, right?
yeah, Death Note is like the best
Yeah, of course.
The
It is
best
example
of
among
of,
that genre.
yeah, it
non-action.
is
Yeah,
the epitome
exactly.
of
Yeah.
shonen, without
Huh.
fighting.
Hmm.
So what?
But
This author, what was his name again? Uh,
Oba, the artist.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Bakuman's author,
No, sorry. Obata, right? Yeah,
Takeshi
Obata.
Obata.
Sorry.
Huh?
Yeah,
So
yeah, sorry. Not Oba.
this dude has written two mangas, both of which are shonen, not shonen but shonen, or the other way
Mm-hmm.
around,
three, I
and
would say,
they were
because he had
both
his
hits.
breakout manga, and then he got Death Note, and then he got Bakuman.
Yeah, and then he got Bakuman.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Okay.
they both worked on the same thing together, right? So
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I think it was more like, okay, the guy who was drawing had an idea of how to do it, and the guy who was writing
Yeah,
it was also like, okay, you know what, I know my story is good. Who can draw according to that? And Jump matched the two
exactly.
together.
To
They
the
didn't know each other
mysterious.
before
Yeah.
Jump.
I think man, he's. I still want to know who Oba is, dude. No one knows who he is. He's still mysterious.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to know who he is. But at least we know Obata, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Oba is kind of like Ice Frog. You just want your
Mm-hmm.
identity hidden so that you
Yeah.
don't get any pressure
Yeah.
or any popularity that will cause
Can you say
problems.
that the name could either be male or female? Because when you searched up the
That
name, there were
was
many cases saying it was a he, but then the picture was of a woman.
That was
that
in
was for
Haikyuu.
Furudate. That was for Furudate, the
Oh.
mangaka for Haikyuu. Yeah.
Alright, no more Haikyuu.
Ah.
I forbid it.
Bro, for
Fine.
those who don't know, tell them who Ice Frog is.
Ah,
Oh yeah, okay. Ice
a
Frog
small
is
tangent.
a small tangent. It's not going to take too long.
Yeah,
Of
10 hours
course.
hardly.
later, we're still talking about Dota. Yeah, Ice Frog is the creator of this game called the Defense of the Ancients, or Dota, and it was started in Warcraft 3.
Frozen Throne. Hmm.
Yeah, I forgot Frozen Throne. Yeah, forgot 3 Frozen Throne. And it's a really amazing game, but I suggest you don't try it unless you want to waste your entire life away. Dota 2 is
Yep.
now released by Valve. By now, I mean 7, 8 years ago.
10 years
It's
ago.
been yeah, it's been released by Valve, and they've done a good job taking care of the game. You can get some really good looking abilities and particle effects and all that flying around. But it is my recommendation, and you can trust my recommendation because we start this podcast and all. Don't play the game; you will lose your life very quickly. It's just like anime; it'll suck you in and never let.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
just another addiction.
At least with anime, we are trying to do something with all the time we are wasting.
yeah, with Dota we just waste time. Unless
Yeah,
you're Sid's brother, who's a Dota professional right now.
of
Yeah.
course.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's having the identity as the mystery. I think it just makes it even better. You have no idea who this enigmatic person is, and they just
Yeah,
come and written two of the best manga the world has ever seen, and just disappeared afterwards. Like nobody knows who this person is,
it's crazy.
and it's
Even
really cool. It's
even
really cool of
Obata
Jump.
didn't
Yeah,
meet him, right?
I don't know.
Till after Death Note, they
What?
say till after Death
I
Note,
don't know if
Obata
that's
didn't meet
true.
him.
I don't know if that's true
Hmm.
because there's no way, right? You'll need to talk. That was something as complicated as Death Note. You can't just do it without having a face-to-face conversation.
What?
Yeah.
So like
It-
L style, Oba is just sitting in the background, or no? Wait, who was the hidden one again? Oba,
Oba.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Oba,
was
yeah.
just sitting in the background, and the artist will just talk to him through Watari or the phone or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
they
just
use their editor as a messenger owl
Oh my god.
apparently.
I don't believe. I'm saying, I'm telling you, if that came from Jump, that's propaganda of some sorts. No way I
Oh
believe
my
it.
god.
Because I mean, come on, it's not even an insult. Okay, I'm just saying the Death Note is so amazingly complicated in certain points that you just can't get that through with an editor alone.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
if that editor had to explain it 3 times in total, he would lose his mind. It's that complicated, and
Yeah,
somehow
but
it's.
tell me.
I find it impossible to believe that they managed to talk without talking, without sitting in front of each other, drawing stuff out, showing it, and talking. It just boggles my mind. I don't even think it's possible. My mind refuses to accept it as possible.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but like I think maybe didn't they say like Obata liked it because it was like Shinigami and it was dark, and Oba
Yeah,
always wanted to write dark stories
yeah, yeah, yeah,
since his first dark manga usually failed like his scripts.
yeah. And
Yeah,
Jump thought they both fit each other very naturally.
exactly.
So
Hmm.
But
wait,
they had to have met. There is no way they wouldn't meet.
I don't know. Yeah, hopefully. Apparently, they met at the party after the Death Note. This na
See, I can
after it was
totally
finished.
understand not
Yeah,
meeting for the initial first one shot of Death Note that they did, which we read by the way, if you remember.
of
That's
course.
the one with
Yeah.
had the eraser.
Hmm.
But saying that they met after Death Note ended is impossible. I can't believe it. There's no way. I call bullshit on that. Jump propaganda is all I'm going to say.
hey, it seems
Jump
possible. Why not?
propaganda.
Are you kidding me? Imagine. Okay, here we are. We
I
can
mean,
barely discuss what topics we need to talk about on the podcast a day before, and we get confused on call over this.
I mean,
Yeah.
they can just there.
and
There are
and they have
movies
to
where
they have to talk. They were newbies technically. They had one manga each, I think, and
uh,
then they combined for Death Note, right? How many did they have? Like one manga each before Death Note, Sid?
I think they at that point, yeah, I think they had one manga each, I would say. Because
Yeah,
Death Note was their big break. Yeah.
yeah, and they started Death Note, so they didn't have experience. They were just geniuses of a different kind. But even then, like, do you think the three of us could sit here and talk about a manga and have whoever's listening draw it out? It would be impossible. Even if we took hours explaining each and every brushstroke, people would not be able to do it without sitting face to face and talking about the complicated plot.
I mean,
Dude, I
that's
think
the
we're
whole.
just incapable. We're not as good as them.
No,
But
that's
that's
I'm
just
telling you,
me.
it's not
No, I
possible.
would say, dude, but Death Note, like, we don't know Oba's age, right? But
Yeah,
someone like Ogata, yeah, someone like Ogata who we already know. Sorry, Obata, my bad.
yeah,
So someone like Obata, like so he found success very late in life, right? Because his first manga, the Hikaru no Go, he made when he was 28. So he never believed he would be something great.
okay.
And Death Note he made in his like early 30s. He was like 33, 34 probably.
Goddamn.
So it was still at a later stage in his life.
But how does that translate? How does that translate to
So I
being
wouldn't
able
say he
to
was
talk about?
inexperienced. Yeah.
But it's I don't know. Talking about that much complexity over a if it was if they're calling each
Yeah.
other, maybe it would make sense. But they using their editor just sounds ridiculous.
It does. It sounds very strange,
But
especially for such a detailed story.
Like
Yeah.
imagine if he misses out on where one part of the Death Note goes or gets confused about that, the entire story is gone.
but
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
like
isn't
true.
that isn't the whole point of writing a whole name and shit beforehand?
yeah,
Like
it is. But then I'm saying
Yeah.
Oba
if
could
you
just write up a name and then send it to the editor through the editor to
Yeah,
him.
but
Hmm.
I'm not sure about this, but Death Note feels like a manga where they had a very good idea of where they wanted to go and they worked backwards from there. It didn't
Uh,
feel like they were changing it based on
hmm.
Yeah.
these things they were getting. I could be wrong there. I'm not sure,
No,
but
I think there were inputs from both sides, from him and from Oba. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm
So
saying they,
both
they had an
influenced it.
idea of where to go.
Yeah.
They didn't have to keep changing it as the results came in. Is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So I think I don't know, man. It's just
They're
okay.
geniuses. That's
If it
the
was
end of it.
that if it was possible, if it was that easy for them, it's no wonder that Death Note and Bakuman were such great hits.
Of course. Yeah.
Wait, which happened first, Death Note or
Death
Bakuman?
Note.
Death Note.
Death Note. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then.
Bakuman, okay, now might as well be a good time to tell it to everybody. Bakuman is supposed to be kind of like an autobiographical manga about Oga and Obata and how they took on dun, 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 One Piece. They took on One Piece
Exactly.
with Death Note, and they apparently managed to beat One Piece twice, and that is reflected in the manga Bakuman itself. So if you follow it, you're going to see a lot of familiar things if you know the manga world well enough, which I think you should know because this is the sixth episode of Weeb101, and you should have already
Yeah.
seen the other things by now.
Sixth or seventh?
Hey, we don't get confused. We just say sixth incorrectly, and then
Sixth.
we
Ah,
You're right. It's
yes.
the sixth episode.
he's a sixth. Already keep
Might be
track.
the seventh. Might be the seventh.
No,
I have a folder where I
I'm
check
telling you,
all.
I'm the guy who designs all
Ah, okay.
the pictures.
That's the
Yeah.
sixth. Yeah.
Yes, we are in the sixth. Yes. Okay, now that we got
Hmm.
that confusion cleared up, yeah. So lot of similarities. Sid, we
Hmm.
just wanted to talk about that for a quick second. Let's get into the characters themselves later. But could you list out
Okay.
the number of mangakas you know? At least name the mangakas you know who played an inspirational role in Bakuman.
Oh, so we know the main two characters, right? That are inspired by the
Yeah,
that's Oba and Obata,
yeah,
and as you said before, AG is inspired by Oda,
yeah,
and apparently, Hiramaru,
yeah.
he was inspired by Hideaki Sorachi, the manga for Gintama. That's what they say.
Oh,
Yeah,
Huh.
they actually
because
reference
of his
Gintama as well in the manga. So it's
exactly,
so weird. Yeah.
and it's apparently because of how he treats his editor and his laziness and everything. Apparently,
Uh,
it imitates him. But since we don't know a lot about that mangaka, we can't say.
but
Uh,
after hearing that, I understand Gintama a lot better now.
yeah,
It's like his personality was put on
Projected.
into
it's put
Gintama.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think Aoki, the
yeah.
shoujo mangaka, I think she's inspired by Kawashita Mizuki, the manga for Ichigo 100%,
What?
which is
Oh yeah, there were
which
references
is
for Ichigo as well.
which is which
What?
is so amazing. Yeah, it's
That blows my
crazy.
mind. You know what? I was just reading that chapter yesterday where
Mhm.
she's supposed to do panty shots
Oh
and
yeah,
she doesn't know how to do it. And now I'm just thinking, what a lie! Of
I
course, she
know,
knew how
right?
to do it. What is
She
that?
was,
That's a misdirection there. Okay, that caught me off guard totally.
yeah, but it makes a lot of sense, right? They're
It makes a
giving, they're
lot of sense
using
now.
they're using their fellow colleagues and creating this amazing story, which may, and even the editor, right? He's a real editor who was the editor for Oda, right?
Who, Atori or
Hattori. Yeah, his real
Yujiro?
name was Hattori. His namesake is Akira Jean Baptiste Hattori. I'm probably
Aki.
fucking up the pronunciation. Yeah.
What? Wait, that's what Akira's
So
Hattori's name
Hattori
is.
is based on two different editors. One of them is this guy, and the other one is like he's not that well known, but he's known in Shueisha. Apparently, that's what I found out.
Whose editor was he? Is that
So
given?
for One Piece, he was the
Uh,
editor for One Piece.
Hmm. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
actually, you know what? You know what? In Bakuman, Hattori actually says,
he needs
"I
to go
just
edit for
started
One
editing
Piece.
One
Yeah,
Piece."
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh my god,
I just remember that. Yeah, that's crazy. Holy shit!
that makes a lot of sense now, huh?
Wow, we
I
are
was like, they
figuring
just
out
put it
shit.
for the memes, No way that guy actually. But
I
damn, he
know,
Edits
right?
for
actually
One
edits
Piece.
One Piece.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I wonder if
and
he was
dude,
the guy who was
what?
behind Shanks's arm being cut off.
Maybe. Who
I
knows?
don't know. Probably
Hmm.
they say that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, who
We need
else?
a
Who
one.
else?
I think. Oh, another thing I didn't understand, but I don't know why they said we probably won't agree with it, but they said AG also may be inspired by Tite Kubo, not only Oda. They said maybe a mixture of the two.
Maybe inspired by who?
Tite Kubo, the mangaka for Bleach.
Bleach.
Yeah.
This part of the podcast has been removed because of profanity from Brew. We are sorry for this and we shall continue from this point onwards. Bleach
God.
isn't any good. Now let's go.
No, I don't. Maybe I don't understand why. Like he's a good mangaka. I guess his lines are his art, his style is really clean. But I think I think it's Oda. I don't think it's Tite
It's
Kubo. But I don't know why
obviously
people say
Oda.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Because we've read about stories, we read stories about Oda being eccentric and having weird mannerisms and how he's been
exactly.
drawing since he was very, very young.
Yeah,
And man, I don't know.
it's weird. Yeah, but there are lots of apparently this thing. I forgot. Even this guy, what's his name? The Nana Mine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Apparently, his character designs were inspired by Light from Death
That makes
Note.
a lot of sense. Yeah, I
Yeah, it
always
makes a
thought they
lot
were
of
very
sense, doesn't
similar.
it? Yeah.
Nanamine?
And,
Nanamine is the guy who basically uses other people to get his manga written. He uses the
yeah.
internet to write his story,
Oh.
and then he gets
Mm.
and then Jump catches him.
Oh,
But
yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah, I think I remember this.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, okay. It's been a while since I've fully read Bakuman again. I'm still halfway through the reread.
that's no problem. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically Nanamine
Hmm.
was a real asshole basically,
Yeah. She
and
has a
all
lot
of
of
us hated
mannerisms.
him.
And apparently, they say they made Hattori look like Ryuk, which I kind of see,
Yeah,
but it's
I
still
can
strange.
totally see that. I can totally see it.
The
Oh my
hairstyle.
god, the
Well,
face, the
the mouth
nose.
wouldn't go as far
yeah.
as that, but yeah. The general
My god.
Hmm.
silhouette of Hattori and Ryuk really match.
Yeah. It's kind of strange. I don't know why people were taking a lot of similarities between Death Note characters and Bakuman. Like someone said Nizuma Eiji looks like L somehow. They
I
said
don't agree with that.
they
Nah.
said Fukuda looks like Mello. With these two, I don't agree with because it's
You know,
still a little
Fukuda and Melo,
strange.
I could actually see it.
I don't think so. I think
Fukuda legit looks like this kind of guy who'd just get on a bike and run into someone and to capture some piece of
Hmm.
information or some
that is
shit
true.
different.
Yeah.
Nizuma's, I don't know. L's silhouette looks a lot
Mm.
more different than Nizuma. I wouldn't say he's the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
I
fact,
think
it's
That's
in
true.
I think after a point it'll just be cherry picking, right? Like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Hattori has the same hair as Ryuk. Maybe yes, they kind of
Yeah.
do look similar.
no Hattori and Ryuk, I can legit see it.
Yeah, that they can see, but then like Nizuma and was it L? I can't
Mm-hmm.
see it.
Imagine, imagine you're the two students, Mashiro and this guy,
Takagi.
Mm-hmm.
Takagi, and you know you read Death Note and you're so excited about getting your first manga into Jump. You go meet the editor and you're like, motherfucker, this is Ryuk. Our editor is
I know,
fucking
right?
Ryuk.
I know, right?
I would shit
I
my pants and get out.
Dude, imagine him like thinking of characters for you. Can he's like, maybe I can use our editor's
I know,
face.
right? Yeah, if
Uh,
there's a real editor, and he's like, this Ryuk looks similar. Who's this character?
Hmm.
Man, that must have been a fun conversation.
I know, right? I hope that happened.
I
But yeah,
know, but we'll never know, unfortunately.
I know we'll never know, right?
Okay, now we've gone off on a tangent again. Okay,
Hmm.
so to bring it back, Bakuman's story. Already, you already told us what you thought. Sid, what did you think?
Yeah, I already. Oh, I think the story. I think I really enjoyed the story because it made it like when I was reading it at that stage, it fulfilled. I would say the basic. I was okay. I'll start again. So I would say the story I really enjoyed it, but and I think it fulfilled the basic like hero's journey that I want to read as a kid. Like
Yeah,
these two guys break out into the world, like choose an adventure, go on this crazy roller coaster, meet different characters, and in the end they have that best ending.
yeah,
So I think it fulfilled that perfectly. And when you're reading those kinds of things at that age, you get really invested.
yeah,
And since it even though they took that concept but they put it in like something like making manga, which I think the first time you told me, I'm like, what? That's weird. Why would you make a manga about
yeah.
making
Making
manga?
manga.
But I think they made it so interesting with all these tips and what goes on in the industry. Even though, like, usually when you talk about what goes on in some industry, how people work, people like, oh, that's boring. I don't want to know about the inner workings and all, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
they fed it to us in like such a interesting, beautiful, like a beautifully crafted way. I think it just makes it amazing.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if it was shown to me as a novel, I would just be like, I'm not reading 600 page books
Yeah.
on how Jump works. I don't care about it
Exactly.
that much.
Even
But
if
then,
you saw like a 1 or 2 hour documentary, you wouldn't watch the whole
yeah, I
thing.
just be like,
Yeah.
I'll skim through it. I'll be like, okay, they take the book. Okay, now what? Now this. But then, yeah, it was given in a very entertaining format overall. Yeah, I agree with that
yeah.
completely. Like it's easy to digest. It's easy to read. It's something that you gain a lot of knowledge while also being entertained. So it's
Yeah.
not only the knowledge, but yeah, I think all of that was packaged really well in Bakuman, and it really shows that storytelling because it's very. it's a very different manga from Death Note, as I said. So to see
Yeah,
such
it's
a
very
big
different.
difference between the two manga, just crazy. I mean, I don't
And
know a lot of mangaka who have tried something and then followed their next work very
Mm-hmm.
carefully, but it still seems like a big style jump for me, which must have been hard for them as well.
Also, I would put another point. Like, I also think like the story made more sense because since it was inspired by like their lives and their struggles, I
Yeah,
think the characters and their stories felt more real than normal. Because it was based off
yeah, that's
reality.
true.
That's what I would say. Yeah,
Weirdly, we didn't know that they were based off real people until
exactly.
now, but we
yeah,
still
Yeah,
felt like it was a very real
felt.
story
yeah,
back then, which adds credibility to that whole thing they said. Because I mean, it's obvious, right? If you're going to be using people, it's going to be more
Yeah,
passionate. It's going to be more. You're going to have more of your heart in it, so that's just going to make it more understandable.
yeah.
It's going to make it more realistic for a lot of people. And
Reality makes it more like relatable, I think. Sorry to cut you off. I
yeah,
think even we are reading like we are reading Punpun right now, right, by Inio
yeah,
Asano. He
yeah,
adds a lot of reality, but his I don't think he's experienced those things that's based, but he
yeah,
still achieves it in a like in very interesting way, like this dystopian form of reality. But I
yeah,
think Bakuman did it in a much more believable and even though they're totally different, I'm just
yeah.
talking
Of
about
course, yeah.
real mangas, yeah.
I think Pun Pun is like showing people growing up in the hood, and Bakuman is about showing them get being raised up in proper Japanese households with a
Exactly.
lot of money.
Yeah. But what were you gonna say before?
I do not remember what was I going to say before. No, it's just
Okay.
about how Bakuman, like again, just the difference between Bakuman and Death Note. And Audi,
Hmm.
you had a point about Death Note and Bakuman and different styles, didn't you? We shall get to that. I remember Audi had a very
right.
interesting point. Yeah, we shall get to that when we go further more into the characters.
Hmm.
And Audi, did you have a point? Audi?
About the favorite characters.
No, about the authors. You're saying something about different styles.
I don't recall there being too much of a this thing difference in styles. I don't think I don't know, felt a lot more fluid. I didn't read Death Note long enough to compare the two, and I don't think just having watched the anime is a good comparison for styles as such. Hello?
Yeah, but you're
Ah.
saying something about
About the different styles in Bakuman that he
yeah,
saw, let him draw.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay, okay. It just surprised me a bit that one artist was able to convey like multiple different styles across the
Hmm.
whole series, right? Like, okay, so since I said that Bakuman is a very shonen manga to begin with, they started to introduce uh, mangas like Crow, for example, from AG, and it kind of resonates in the same line. It's a shonen style manga as well, so he'll probably know how to draw shonen manga. And Crow is also a very classically shonen manga from the way they portrayed it, so that makes sense. But then here they are showing other mangas as well coming in, like. What was Aoki Ko's first manga that they introduced her with?
ah,
I
I think
think it
that was
was
hideout
it
door.
Was it
Hideout Door,
Hatsuko Limited? Oh, okay,
No,
sorry,
Hideout
sorry.
Door,
hideout
Hideout
door.
Door. And yeah, like Hideout Door, for example, that's a completely different style from Crow and from Bakuman that he's
Hmm.
drawing out at the same time, and he still maintains that style, and it stands out like a sore thumb in the panels as well. It doesn't blend in. It's separated from them, and you kind of look at it and go, huh, okay, it's a different manga. It's not the same art style as the background. It's not the same art style as the characters. And you kind of and I don't know, that's one of the reasons why I just like the versatility at which the artist was able to draw different mangas throughout all the chapters.
Yeah, it's a very good point
Mm.
because they do show different
Yeah.
genres, they do show different ideas being put out because they have a lot of shonen mangas running.
Mm.
But even
Hmm.
even Nizuma, they don't show the shonen parts of the manga.
Yeah.
They show how the setting, they
Mm.
show
Hmm.
how other manga they draw covers, they draw so many things. Also, interestingly, Bakuman, one color spread of Bakuman had Death Note on it. they had a Death Note
Had
reference in they had a Death Note reference in the
wow.
cover of Bakuman, and they also it was also with One Piece celebrating something. I think it's about a card game or something for One Piece,
Oh
and
wow.
that was
Okay.
there on the same this thing as Bakuman, which is very
Mm-hmm.
interesting for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good point because you're
It's
moving
a
between shoujo manga,
mhm.
you're moving between shonen manga,
Yeah.
you're moving between different types of shonen manga. So
And
it's
like
yeah,
earlier, you said that both of them were geniuses of their own right. So,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, Oba, yeah, Oba,
Oba. Yeah.
Tsugumi
The
Oba.
writer. Mm-hmm.
He obviously shows his skill, his prowess in throughout his story writing, whereas the artist shows off his prowess through multiple manga across chapters. And I don't think such a better opportunity presented itself for the artist, and he grabbed that opportunity and really went with it. And I don't know, it seemed too perfect for him.
No,
yeah. I
but
mean,
like to talk about your point, right? I would say if it makes a lot of sense if you still see if you see Obata's like life and the manga he's been making.
yeah,
Like I think I talked about this earlier. I was talking to Bru. Like he won the prize,
Tezuka
you know, the
Award, yeah, Tezuka Award,
Tezuka Award at 17. He was one
yeah,
of the youngest mangas to ever win it. For his manga, it was called 500 Konen no Shinwa. And I think if you see his style at that time, it's very like Gekiga, you know, the old
yeah,
school realistic style. That's how he started. And if you see his manga throughout the years, like if you see like his Hikaru no Go, Hajime, all his mangas, you see his style keeps changing and developing throughout. So he's always experimenting.
yeah, yeah,
Even Death Note reached a different style, and then with this also, I think with Bakuman he reached his peak where he was referencing all the styles and techniques he tried.
yeah.
But I
That's true.
think it also goes to his career and him as an artist being experimental and always trying new things that he could achieve this. I would say that's why it makes sense
Yeah.
to me. Hmm.
No, but also even when it comes to writing, right? Now,
Yeah,
for those who know, I am a very mediocre writer, but I'm a writer at the very least. I write the social media for Weeb101. Yes, you can like my posts. Anyway, as for looking at the writing perspective, it is hard to come up with a plot for two gag manga, a plot for two shonen manga, a
oh
plot for a
fuck yeah.
shoujo manga, three other plots for three other people. And these guys are writing stories that don't exist.
Yeah,
They are making proper manga pitches
inside a
inside the manga
It's
world which
mind
they
blowing.
created.
and it's not just that they're dragging it out, like they are giving more and more content inside the manga itself. So
Yeah,
they're somehow managing to draw it out even further, and just he
Yeah, I
just
mean,
keeps it alive.
I could literally look at any of the stories that they've shown in the manga and see it becoming. I've talked to Sid about this multiple times. Every time I read Bakuman, that's my point. They should have taken one of the manga they showed in the manga and made it another action manga.
dude, all of them could be bestsellers,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
At least the ones that Muto made, and even AG and others, but
yeah,
still, all of them could be bestsellers. Yeah.
it's just crazy because the designs are beautiful.
Hmm. Oh, dude, I
Each
love
one has
Crow,
its
dude.
own
Holy
distinct style. Oh
shit.
yeah, Crow is
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah.
Oh,
But and even isn't there's one where Crow also fights a zombie of his brother, and
oh
he
yeah.
faces zombies. My God, I was mind blown when I saw that panel. Insane! I just insane. The writing and the art. I was like, God damn, these
Mhm.
guys are geniuses. I
It's
mean, that's
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. But anyway, again, coming back, Bakuman. What are your favorite
Bakuman.
characters? Sid, let's go. Favorite
So
character or
this may be
characters?
unpopular opinion,
Yeah.
but my favorite character is Mashiro.
Why is that an
Ah,
unpopular opinion?
I don't know. Most people like AG a lot. Everyone says if you don't like AG, you don't like Bakuman.
That's true. If you don't like AG, you don't like Bakuman. I agree
Yeah,
with
I
that
like
sentiment
Mashiro for personal reasons.
because
As
you can
someone who's
identify
trying
with him.
exactly, I
yeah.
can relate to him, and since he's based on Obata, like I understand that like because even I'm not as good, I'm still struggling, I still suck at what I do, I would say, but I'm still trying to get somewhere, and I'm still suffering, and like even he doesn't like working, the same thing I talked about in the beginning. He doesn't like working at
Yeah,
corporations, he wanted to do his own thing, but he's trying to improve and he's struggling and he's going through. Even though Mashiro is like a genius, I'm not as good as him, I'm not as good
yeah,
as that fictional character,
yeah.
but I
How
think
dare you
character
not
wise,
be?
I relate to him the most, his
Yeah.
values and what he tries to be. I think that's why He's my favorite character. Yeah.
I'd say his values are a bit
Mm.
self-destructive in nature, and it kind of hurts his own work ethic in the sense because
No,
he
Wow.
ended up in.
Thanks. Indirect way of taking shots at me, dude. Thanks.
no, but in not to defend Sid at all. Yeah, Sid should really take care of his health. But
Yeah.
to defend Mashiro, he didn't go to the hospital because of overworking. That was never explicitly said. He
Yeah.
had a liver problem, which could have been caused by literally anything.
Hmm.
So it could just be that the liver problem was an unfortunate incident that happened. Because whenever you heard of someone overworking and then they needed to get part of their liver taken away, it makes no sense.
Yeah. That's not related to the liver. Yeah. But I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm not a medical professional. I can't say.
I
But
am
as
a
far as I
doctor.
know,
I
no.
have done 5 minutes of Google research, and
Uh-huh.
No, so
I'm telling you.
well, yeah, liver stress can happen if you over not. It's not just overworking, right? But then like staying up late nights, just working through and through and through, and just not getting the right amount of sleep and food.
Yeah, but
Like
I'm
it was.
saying that won't make them want to take away part of your liver to save you.
No, but then that's what
He
the
had to
doctor
get
said,
his.
Mm.
right? It was not just under sleep. Yes, less sleep. It was not just less sleep, but it was malnutrition as well. At the end of the day, this guy was legit breaking himself apart for the sake
Yeah,
of
I mean, yeah, he was malnutrition.
manga.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was not getting
Yeah.
enough
Of course.
sleep. But I'm
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
saying he didn't go into the hospital because of that. He
Didn't he?
went into the hospital because of his liver.
Well, his liver broke
Yeah.
apart because of his
He
lifestyle.
was still trying to
No,
work there.
yeah,
Like trying to
he
color
had a
and stuff.
liver
Yeah.
problem. He must have had it from before and just flared up because of the
Well, I
you
mean,
know
that
no
that
sleep
just
and the
could be any
malnutrition.
of the case then, right? I
It
mean,
could be a combination of burnout also
yeah.
because later their editor comes and tells them to like take a break, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean,
Because if he knew that it was a physical condition that was running through the family, then this thing he could have just said, okay, it's fine, you can work through it. It's not related to overworking or not, but this had happened before with Kawaguchi Taro, and
yeah, again, we don't know what exactly happened there either. All we
but
know is
then
that he overworked. We don't know if what part of his body got affected and how he died. For
but then
all you
for the
know, Kawaguchi Taro just stayed up 1 week in a row and then his body just gave up after that.
exactly, but that elicited a response from the fucking editor in chief of all people.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
mean,
isn't supposed to meddle in the affairs of the artists, the writers, and the editors. That's what the
I
editor's job was
I
supposed to
see
be.
your point. I'm just saying no. Anyway,
Uh,
People die from overwork. It's a thing in Japan. You
yeah,
I
know
it's
know
a
that.
thing
people
in
die
Japan.
from
Yeah.
overwork, but I don't understand how removing part of the liver compares to, I mean, stands has any connection to overworking.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I
if it was
don't.
if it was like your liver is damaged, please stop overworking so you don't damage it more. Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
have to remove part of your liver. It's a surgery that
It's
doesn't
not
happen out of the blue.
overworking
It's
won't get you hurt as such, right? I mean, it's just you're sacrificing so much things for the sake of work, and that's what needs to be remedied rather than the overwork. You can overwork all you want without if you don't face the repercussions for it, nah.
I'm
So
just
yeah.
saying he had pre-existing conditions. The overworking
who
was not the
knows? Who
problem.
knows?
Hey, I'm a big fan of Mashiro too. I think he should have worked in the hospital. Takagi was just being a little bitch by telling him, "Oh, please work. Oh, please don't work. No, no." I do not agree with that sentiment. Yeah, but Sid, I agree with you. This, I can understand why you like him,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people like him.
Yeah,
It's
in
just
fact,
that
on
Unpopular
the
opinion here in this Among Us.
that's true.
Yeah.
I think like in the wiki, half the people like Nizumar and Mashiro, and the votes are actually they have a difference of 7 votes.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that.
Nizuma beats
Mm.
Mashiro by 7 votes.
Yeah, I mean,
It was you probably Brew making alternate accounts and voting 7 times.
I have never done that before in my life. Please do not. I'm not an online bully. Also, I have only 14 different accounts. Don't worry.
Of
Anyway,
course. Yeah.
if Weeb101 has 14 likes on every episode, you get the hint.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think Mashiro is a really good character as well,
Hmm.
Yeah.
especially since they're based on one of the people themselves.
Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
I think it's a really good uh, representation of what a mangaka
Mm-hmm.
should be as well. It's the way he's ready to work, the way he's ready to acknowledge his own art's flaws and work on them to
Yeah.
make them better.
yeah.
It's all. stand-up character. It's also I also like Takagi a lot for that. It's the fact that he can really just anything is thrown at him, he can immediately adapt to it and start working.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
I think that's nice.
Yeah, because their editor says, okay, we're going to do gag manga, and once they're on
Hmm.
board, this guy starts going ham with
I know, right?
it's like
Yeah.
crazy. So he does really well. He does really well in respect, even though it's not his strongest suit. He knows that, but he does really well. So I think
Yeah, I think
Takagi
both
is
of
very
these,
good.
they complement each other in like a really good way.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think when we started also we are inspired. I was like, I'll draw, you write, let's
yeah.
have a pen name.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember our pen name. What was our pen name?
I have no idea, dude. I've
Good.
forgotten.
This world shall never know it. I am so sorry. Just a second. My cat is mewing. Can you guys hear the mewing?
Yeah.
What a weeb. He has a cat.
Okay. I'm just
At,
gonna throw out the cat.
at this
Yeah.
point, you might as well explain how many cats and dogs you have in the house.
Okay, I'm just gonna let the cat meow because it gives a good background sound and we don't have any background music for
It's a
the
good
podcast.
weeb sound effect.
Yeah,
They love cats.
Yeah.
we love cats, as you can
Yeah.
see. All of us have cats or had cats at some point in our lives except Audie, which is why we're
Yeah.
making him a weeb. Audie, you have to adopt one of my cats. You can't become a true weeb unless you adopt one of my cats.
Nah, I'd rather not.
I'll give you this one, the little bitch who's screaming all the time over here.
Nah,
I'll
it's
give
fine.
her.
You can keep it.
But yeah, anyway, Audie, your favorite character?
My favorite character, as it was, AG.
Ah, damn it, I should have gone first. Why AJ, Audie?
I think for the most obvious reasons, very very outstanding character, had his own this thing mark throughout the series. Yeah, and he was obviously he was, I wouldn't say villain was the right word because I classify everything as either hero or villain. But then he was like the villain. He was like the rival as such, right? The main rival
There's
of the
a
whole
big
series.
difference between villain and rival, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
Bakuman.
I,
It's very important.
in my head, I processed it like, okay, he's the villain, but he's clearly he was not a villainous character. He didn't.
Hmm.
Him and Mashiro had each other's best interests in mind, even when they were participating, even when they were competing against each other.
Yeah,
So, like the fact that AG was so consumed by manga, right? He was just so into the whole the occupation, I would say.
yeah.
Not occupation, to him it is like it was something he loved doing. It was not a job. He
It was
just
not.
sat down, he just slept, he got up and he was like, okay, I have pen, fuck it, just start drawing. And the way they show that he was immersed by is he made sounds in the middle of doing his work. If people came in to talk to him, he wouldn't be so consumed by it that he would just be focused on that page. He'd still talk to them, but he'd still be drawing at the same time. He'd still be making noises, and it's just the sort of character that you don't usually see. The genius sort of character that was labeled by Hattori himself and the other editors, and he just stood out. He stood out in comparison to Mashiro. He stood in Takagi and all the other artists that come in. Like like you said, Fukuda Shinta, for example, he looks like the type of guy who would jump on a bike. He's like a gangster type of character,
Yeah.
and you kind of get that vibe off of him. But then, what kind of vibe do you get off of AG aside from the fact that he's just this guy who has a unique sort of personality that you won't find that easily? And yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I like him as an this thing, one of the main characters, anyways. Him and Mashiro on some level. Mashiro, the reasons have already been explained,
Hmm.
and I like on the side I like Hattori as well a little bit because when they first introduce him, he's not this
You mean real?
budding editor that kind of goes along with Mashiro, but he's they just show his professional side right off the bat, and I kind of like that from the get go. He's sort of like the guy who held your hand through the whole journey of Bakuman itself. And when they finally show that the editors were switching out from Hattori to Miura, it just kind of felt sad that he was going. I also wanted him to be there with us. Like fuck it, why isn't he their editor anymore? It felt sad to see him go. Just putting it out there.
Audi is surprisingly vocal today.
Eh,
That to tell you how much Bakuman touched all our hearts.
yes.
Yeah.
But yes, I do agree with both of you, and I I know why. I know you're giving proper reasons for why this should be your favorite character. But I'll
Mm.
tell you why AG should be your favorite character.
Mm.
It's really simple. He's based on Oda.
Yeah.
It's obvious,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
So
I
they're One
dislike
Piece
prodigies.
fanboys. They're One
huh?
Piece fanboys.
Yeah.
But I
They're
dislike
Oda
prodigies.
fanboys.
They're too good. I don't like them. They
Oda
have
is
free
not a
skill.
Yeah, but Oda is Oda.
I
So if something is
understand.
based off Oda, you have to
Uh-huh.
like that as well.
I see.
Otherwise, there's no point.
And that's why you like him?
Yes, because he's Oda, and
I think that's a good justification.
you can see the similarities, right? Because
Yeah.
if you guys remember, Oda once in a question answer after the Usopp chapter,
Mm.
the first Usopp chapter, where he parts ways with the three guys from his village, they all cry, and Usopp lifts his head up and cries towards the sky.
Mm.
And Oda wrote that he did that until he actually started to cry, and he literally did that for reference and kept crying and eventually made the drawing.
Damn.
That sounds like something Nizuma would do.
Yeah.
Exactly. It does.
No, it doesn't sound like something Mizuma would do. For
Of course it does.
Of
because
Because
course it does too.
no, he's not. He doesn't seem like the type of guy who would reference something and do it because it just happens in his head. You
no,
saw
you
the
can
way.
see Nizuma making actions and making
Yeah,
sounds
he
and making
literally
faces
believes he's
to
Crow when
He's
he does
making
yeah.
the.
actions, but then you saw right, like I think the time when his editor, I forgot the editor's name, he dragged Nizuma into the jump office for the first time to meet the other editors, and his editor was like, "Yo, I need you to make the names or the, I think it was the names anyways. I wanted you to make at least 10 names or one 10 pages or something like that.
Two names. Yeah,
Two
I
names. Oh,
remember what you're
sorry, two
talking
names.
about.
Yeah, yeah. And
10 names, you mad?
hey, you know what? I'm not putting it past him. He probably would do it if he
Yeah.
had the time. And he just drew it within the course of of half an hour, if I remember.
Yeah, half
And
an hour.
he just drew two names like it was nothing. And after that part was done, Nizam was like, I was lying. I didn't think it wasn't in my head at the time. And everyone was stunned at the fact that this guy just thought of it on the fly.
And he's based on Oda.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, Oda is still human in that aspect.
See,
Hey,
writing
Oda is not human.
narratives.
I
Yeah.
beg to
I don't
disagree.
say
Oda is
yeah.
not human.
Oda
He's
is a
a god.
prodigy. Yeah.
Fucking AG is much, much more sensational than that.
I am telling you, Oda is a
Dude.
god. They call
Yeah,
him
dude. Oda
Goda for
is next level.
Goda
I'm not
for a reason.
disputing how much of a god Oda is. I'm just saying,
Hey, if you
if
really
He
want
has
to talk
only.
about small things like that, if you go to one of the latest One Piece chapters, you can
Mm.
see Makino holding this
Mhm.
thing paper reading about. Uh, should we put One Piece spoilers here? One Piece spoilers here. I'm sorry, I have to prove a point.
God,
Makino's holding a paper which is talking about Sabo and she's crying.
Yeah.
There is a kid with
spoiler
her.
indeed.
There is a kid with her. Okay? If you now the first thing is that kid is the same kid that who was Makino was pregnant with right after Shanks left the village.
Mm.
Okay. Age matches perfectly.
Uh
Second,
huh.
the bar counter has a cut on it, which happened in the first chapter of One Piece.
Yeah.
Okay,
Continuity.
that guy remembered one cut that was made for fun as somebody slashed the alcohol bottle. Made for fun. It didn't have a part in the story.
Yeah. He's just a genius.
He remembered that at chapter 900 and what 918 or something. Like what the hell, man?
He could have
How is
just
that
drawn.
fair?
He could have just drawn a regular table and said that yeah, Makino just repaired it, huh? But he maintained the
Yeah,
No,
but
cut.
he
yeah,
remembered the
exactly.
damn detail.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He's insane.
He's a god. He's not a.
Hey, he has one imperfection, I would say.
He can't draw women.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Which
He can.
Obata is amazing at.
He can draw women. It's just the women look very similar,
All of them look the
Yeah.
same. All
Yeah.
of them are Robin.
basically. Except for
Yeah.
Nami. Nami and Robin, I think there's a very clear difference.
Yeah.
But aside from that, yeah, everyone
After
looks
that, he
like
gave
Robin.
up.
Yeah.
I think even in the they reference it. I think I don't know who says it, but he says drawing women is so difficult or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so he's based on Oda, and he really
Yeah.
he's like you get a way to look into Oda's personal life there, the way he thinks about like by personal life I don't mean who
Mhm.
he's dating or whatever, but like the way he does manga, the way he approaches it, the way he thinks about it, and it does sound very much like Oda. That's the reason I like AG, because it really helped me understand Oda outside of One Piece, but still in the manga realm.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's a very, he's a genius. He's just
AG is
all
the type
everything
of
makes
guy
sense.
who'd ascend into godliness if there was like a position for it. Like a fucking halo will spawn behind his head when he reaches the ripe age of 30, and then he becomes just a god of manga sitting on his throne of made of money and gold. That
But
sounds
see,
like a
that's
type
where
of.
you're wrong, because Ashirogi Motov defeats him.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but then
But
you know,
who has defeated Oda?
well,
Oda, One Piece is now going to cross more sales than Dragon Ball.
well, Oba did defeat him at
Do
one
you
point, but then
Yeah.
do you know
so
do you know how much that is? If it's gonna encompass Dragon Ball sales. Okay, Dragon Ball. That's like the ceiling of manga right there.
how many
That's
sales
like
does Dragon Ball have?
I don't remember the numbers,
Wait,
but
Dragon Ball as in which one?
Dude,
Like,
the
it beat
manga
Dragon
Dragon
Ball.
Ball. It did, yeah.
Overall
Okay,
sales.
it beat Dragon Ball.
What I'm
oh,
looking
okay.
at, Dragon Ball says 240 million, One Piece says 380 million.
Look at that, 380 million. Are you kidding me?
Oh, Yo, I was mind blown by how Nizuma had 8.5 million sales when he first
Yeah.
mentioned it, and this guy's 380 million. My God.
It's crazy. It's
Eh.
also interesting that Nizuma's favorite manga is Doraemon, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I might not agree with.
Hmm.
Well, it's because we were exposed to it in a different way.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
Even
exposed
in
we
to it
had
Japan, they
the
were
we had the
exposed to it.
in a
shitty Hindi
disgusting
dubbing
way.
beyond it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand why we ended up hating it. Between the shitty Hindi dubbing and Nobita crying all the time, it was just.
Yeah, and I also like Miho.
Miho is
Eh.
amazing, yeah.
And it's not
Did
this
you
thing.
just Miho, Audi?
No, I agreed. Like I didn't
Oh, I
air
heard
Miho. I didn't air Miho in the sense like it was a bad character or anything. I like Miho.
Okay.
He just
Uh,
likes it.
I see,
If I
Audi.
ever get a body pillow, that's gonna be Miho on it. No, I'm
Oh my
kidding.
God
god, dude.
damn
Hey,
that.
she's too innocent for
Yeah,
that. Don't
she's
do
too
that to
innocent for
Miho.
that.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the character.
We
She's
gotta protect
extremely
our
innocent.
waifus, dude. Yeah.
Extremely innocent.
Yeah.
There's no crazy weird sexual thing going on like there is in so many other manga.
Is that why you like her? Because she just ends up retaining her purity, unlike any other female character.
Yeah, and both of them, right? Both of them retain their purity without any problems throughout the entire manga.
God damn, that's a
I
low
wouldn't
fucking
say they're
bar.
retaining purity in like it's just they're like normal
Yeah,
people in a normal story. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I'd
that's
say more like
okay.
innocence.
Yeah.
Their innocence is maintained, and that for me is like something which I find, at least in our world, is just not there, right?
Hmm.
I Man, people in my school used to sneak alcohol bottles from their parents, and they used to go to fields and get drunk, and they got caught for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was what dumbasses would do this right next to the damn school.
Yeah, dude.
While
School was all about like, hey, you wanna do this, huh? You wanna try that? And
yeah,
that's what it was, yeah.
This is the full rebel phase.
and these guys have such a
Yeah.
pure relationship. So just again, by pure I mean that innocent relationship, not like some
Yeah.
it's just really, really, I don't know. It's like longing for something that has changed too much in this world, if you might
Yeah,
say it like
that's
that.
true.
It's like I
It's
wish
very
there were,
wholesome.
yeah, I wish there was more wholesome stuff like that in our world, but unfortunately, it just seems to be diminishing day by day.
Yeah.
On the other
And
hand, Takagi's romance with Miyoshi is so weird, right? Because he's just like, I'll date you, I guess.
I know,
And then
right?
she's like, I want to get married, and he's like, I'll marry you, I
It's
guess.
very
I know, right?
one-sided.
Well, I think it's always because you when the first time they come to Takagi, the who's the other girl who comes and says like, "I like you, but you have to stop doing manga or something," right?
Iwase,
Iwase.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think and this what's her name? I forgot.
Who?
Miyoshi. Miyoshi
Miyoshi,
was
yeah.
like, doesn't matter what you do, right?
Yeah.
That's why he chose Miyoshi. And even in the end, he said, "I'll marry you," because I think he gets caught with the other author, right?
Yeah, yeah,
What's her
yeah.
name?
Aoki, Aoki.
Aoki. Yeah, when they are trying to work
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
manga. Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Exactly.
think that's when he says, "I'll marry you."
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just a very weird relationship. Like, does he not want to be in the relationship? Does he want to be in the? I'm just very confused. But
Yeah.
eventually,
I
it
think
all
after a
works out.
point, he just gave so much commitment that he was like, "Fuck it, I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship now."
Yeah, basically,
He just
he's
played
gone too
along, and he's
far.
like, "Yeah, well,
Guess I have
Here
to.
we are. Hmm.
But yeah, I think Miho is very good. She is independent, which is not something you see in a lot of mangas. Sakura, and she has very clear. She's very strong. She knows what she wants to do. She's very adamant about things which she wants to do, but she's
hmm.
also very caring when it comes to it.
Ah,
She's a voice actress who doesn't want to do model shoots, which might be a plus. Again, retaining that innocence of her dream,
Uh huh.
because both of them had this dream when they were young, right? It wasn't a dream they got when they became older.
hmm.
So
Yeah.
them retaining and maintaining that and growing that innocence of their dream is like very important for me in the manga, because they think it's easy, and then they go into this world where shit's really about to hit them, and they could be
Exactly.
sexualized, they could be overworked, they could be anything could happen, and these guys still kept their innocent dreams
Hmm.
going, which I think is very, very important to the manga. That I
Yeah,
think
it
gives
seems
it a lot of
almost
its
too
charm.
perfect, I think, which makes it amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems
So
almost too fictional.
yeah, it actually just, I think that's what gives it its charm. That you
Yeah.
that attracts you, the way these characters are written. In fact, I'll tell you what. My brother, for those of you who don't know, I mean, I've never spoken about him before, but my brother, who lives in the same house with me, read Bakuman, and I remember him telling me when he got to some of the more romantic parts in Bakuman,
Hmm.
I already finished it, and he told me, if these two end up together and get married, I will be disappointed. I would have
Oh.
wasted the entire manga if that happened. And I was like, excuse me, that's the end goal, right? He's like, yeah, but I'm expecting a twist. I don't think they'll get married. I'm
Ah,
expecting reality to hit. I'm expecting a twist. And I was like, read on. I'm not going to spoil it for you. And
Yeah.
he read it, and then he closes the app. I mean, he closes the book that he bought legally,
yes.
and he puts it down, and he's just turns to me with a shaky voice. He's like, wow, it's done so well.
Oh,
I was like, are you
dude,
going
I
to
just got
cry?
goosebumps when you said that.
Yeah, I was like, are you going to cry? He's like, it's so emotional. They did
I
it
know,
so
right?
well. My God. And I mean, that says a lot.
I was just
It
gonna
does.
say, right, like in our world where everything that we watch and everything that we read is so full of fiction, we are just so
Mm-hmm.
starved of a simple, you know, story of ascension where
Yeah,
everyone meets their dreams and everyone has a really happy ending.
I
We're
know,
just so
right?
starved of it that at the end of the manga, we're like, "Fuck! Oh, it actually happened." I feel happy, but I feel sad that it happened, and we are kind of expecting a twist all along, but we just get robbed of that twist, and instead we are given this nice, good, pure thing in the end, and it just feels a bit surreal for first time readers of Bakuman. That's certainly what I felt, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect a twist, to be honest. I was like, these two are gonna get married
Yeah.
for sure. I was like,
Yeah,
if
that's
they
all I
don't
was
get
hoping
married,
for.
I'm going to riot. I need
Yeah.
to see them married.
And it's
Uh,
so powerful. I still remember the last page, the last chapter
Yeah,
is like embedded in my head,
yeah,
dude.
that's
mm.
true. And
Mm.
it is one of the, okay, wait, we're getting a little, okay, characters.
Yeah,
Okay, but
Carried
I
away,
will just
yeah.
say this: it's one of the only good manga endings that I've read. One of
I
the only
agree.
good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway,
Like, okay, to be honest, I remember what the last panel is, right? But then I remember just bits of it. I know there was Miho's face in the last panel, and that's all that I remember from it. And right now, I want to just go to the last chapter and kind of see what the last panel is, but I don't want to do that because I know I'm already midway of Bakuman. I just want to finish it off properly because it's just that good, right? It's just that it's in the thick of it, and I don't want to spoil it for myself, even though I know
well,
what's going to happen.
Audi is
Yeah.
becoming a true weeb. This is how we know Audi. Proud of
Eh,
you. You can
I'd
check it out.
say I don't know. It's a really good story, so I'm just
This is
trying to
good.
stick to
Yeah,
that.
it's happening.
But
Mm.
you cannot skip other weeb suggestions that you get from here just because you're reading Bakuman again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't
Like,
skip it, but then hey, let's see.
you hear that, guy? Sorry, he doesn't want this podcast to go on. But yeah, anyway. Okay, now let's talk about the story inside the stories.
Oh
Okay.
God. Okay.
The manga that was being written by the mangaka in Bakuman.
Yes, yes.
What are your thoughts? Which one's your favorite? Let's go. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Let's do that. My favorite of all the ones I read,
Is
obviously
Crow.
I no, I love Crow. Okay, Crow is
Okay,
amazing. But at that time when I was reading, the one I enjoyed the most personally was PCP.
that's true. Oh, PCP was really
I
good.
loved PCP because, like, I think as a kid also, like, I think I grew up reading a lot of mystery, like, the famous Five
Yeah,
Secret
yeah.
Sevens, Enid Blytons, and you go
Anything
to the
written by
Hardy
Enid Blyton,
Boys,
basically.
you go to the Hardy Boys and all that. And I think PCP fits that, but it like merges the Japanese manga culture with that mystery aspect, and there are these little kids who are like, I think it makes it real. I think I really enjoyed the PCP manga. I think that's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean PCP was a really
Hmm.
good. Like, that story blew. It wasn't PCP the one where they followed Hattori through his day before they
Oh
wrote it,
yeah, yeah.
and they
I
tried to
think that
make
was the
sure
one.
he
Yeah.
wouldn't find them, and
You wouldn't find
yeah,
them.
that
Yeah.
was very memorable. I think they did that very well. PCP was
It was like
definitely.
this kids mystery spy thing, which made it really
Yeah, yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
And they
Mm-hmm.
actually tried it out themselves. And
Yeah,
also,
they did.
it's in Japan, right? So you need to be careful of even what you call a
Exactly.
perfect crime and do it. So I think they handled that aspect of it very well as well. Adi,
Very well.
what's your favorite manga out of? Sid, wait. Do you like anything else? Any other honorable mentions, if not second or third
Honorable
places?
mentions. I would say the Two Worlds manga. I really love the
Yes.
concept, even though it didn't get approved technically in the.
Yeah.
But I really love the concept. Like it took simulation theory to a new level, and at that point when we were reading it, I was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy! Is
Yeah.
this true?"
I think
Well,
I,
And Crow, of course. Yeah.
do you
I,
remember Future Watch, Sid?
Future Watch. No, I don't remember that. I think.
This guy's dad leaves him two watches, and he can go into the future based on that. He
Oh,
can
that
go
was.
8 minutes into the future.
Oh, okay. I think I forgot about that one. Yeah,
Ah,
but
okay.
that seems pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Audi, what about you?
I think I like Otters 11. I just wanted to see what Otters 11 could evolve into. Otters 11 and Crow.
Otters 11 is such a enigma, isn't it?
Mm.
Because you
Yeah.
don't it has otters. You don't
But
know
they are
anything else about it.
they are people.
Yeah,
They're
that's what I'm saying.
otter people.
Yeah, they're otter
Otter people
people,
living their lives, trying
Yeah.
to do
but
things
you
like fix
literally
things,
don't know
like help.
anything else about it. You can
Yeah.
see in some panels, you can see otters like kicking humans, and you still and you still have no idea what the hell Otters 11 is. But
Yeah.
yeah, Otters 11 is very
Yeah.
interesting. How come? Okay, already go
Very.
on. Finish. I shall let you say
Otters
anything
11
else.
simply because I wanted to see what Otters 11 would be like IRL. But yeah,
Yeah,
I also like the what was the chapter where they had the 100,000 100 billion some minutes thing? I forgot
yeah,
the.
yeah.
I think that I wanted to see come into reality as well.
Well, Sid, wasn't do you remember that story? It's actually quite similar to the manga story we came up with.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
The one with the minutes, your life. It's basically you have.
Oh,
up
was
till
it?
up till
Holy shit,
age
dude.
up till age 15, you are exempt from this, and once you hit the age of 15, you are given like 100 billion minutes or something to live with.
Oh, what?
I
I
don't know.
don't think I remember this one. Yeah.
It's something like I think you use the minutes.
It's
I
something
don't.
like Just in Time, that movie. So,
Yeah,
sort
Din
of like
time.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. You know that
I know what you're
secret
talking.
project
I
we've been
know.
working
Yeah,
on,
yeah, exactly.
which has
We
been
will be
going
for the
on.
future too.
Yeah, yep, yep.
I think
Okay.
Crow. The only reason I like Crow is because there was one panel they showed of AG drawing out the main character for Crow, and I really like the art of that one panel, and I wanted to see what Crow would have been like.
Crows. Yeah. I
And
also like the
you,
concept of his zombie, the one he makes later.
yeah, yeah.
Even that's really
Unfortunately,
good
yeah, I don't
concept.
remember
Yeah.
that bit. I think that comes
Hmm.
way later on because I've not reached that part yet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wasn't
Crow.
was the zombie thing a part of Crow, or was it another manga?
No, it was his manga after it was competing with Reversi, I think. It was the one where it was a zombie who has like human feelings
Oh
and
yeah,
wants
yeah,
to
yeah.
get like
That's the one I
yeah,
was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about before. Okay, I
Ah,
thought it was
okay,
part
okay.
of Crow. I got confused. Okay, my bad.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
But how come neither of you said River Sea?
Bro, I like Reversi because it has that it has the concept of the good and the bad and all.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
for
River
me,
Sea is
PCP just
the
stands out.
it's
Yeah,
the manga. River Sea is like the manga.
it makes me think of Inuyashiki now if I think about it.
Yeah, it's actually very true.
Yeah,
I personally don't remember Reverse yet that much.
Ah,
Hence the rereading.
well, already
for
River
those
Sea
who
is the
don't
manga.
know,
Since we're saying
yeah.
spoilers anyway,
Yeah.
uh, River Sea is the
Can I
manga which
say Inuyashiki is by Oku Hiroya, who also made Gans? You should check that out. Future episode coming.
Mm,
is there.
Now you can
Is there
continue.
going to be a future
from what
episode?
I've heard, I don't think we should be
Definitely.
making an episode on that.
Well, Audi has to read it. That's going to take a lot of his
Yeah.
sanity and a lot of his time. So hopefully we
Hmm.
can get it done.
Yeah, what were you saying, bro?
My dog is growling here again. Dog, shut up.
Bro, he's sharing his opinions.
His opinions don't matter. He's blind,
Wow.
so he hasn't read any of the manga we're talking about. He's just trying to
Uh-huh.
butt into the conversation, wants to feel important. Anyway, yeah, River Sea. I think River Sea is the one for me because it River Sea is like a combination of everything they learn. It
Hmm.
has humor, it has emotional moments, it has fighting. It's shonen but not shonen,
That's true.
and they went into detail with that, right? So you could basically say it's Obata's fourth manga, which is shonen but not shonen, because River Sea
Hmm.
was shown in a lot of detail. You had a lot of the plot being revealed. You had the finale actually being shown as a two-page spread in the
Yeah,
manga itself. Like that's crazy. The amount of effort they put into that is just really crazy. It's sort of like this what's going on with Aghanim right now in Dota. As Aghanim is a new hero who's not a new hero, we're not sure. But like that,
yeah,
it's a new manga that actually could have been a manga. They could have stopped Bakuman and continued Reverse, and nobody would have even thought about it for a second. They'd be like,
that's
oh, they're
true.
showing their new manga here. Okay, let's read it. It would have been really good. But yeah, Reverse for me. And I also okay, fine.
No, none of you are like Detective Trap.
That's what I was going to say.
Ah, okay.
I was going to say Trap is like a. It's not like I didn't like it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like for me. It was like okay, I think PCP is much better than Detective.
Yeah, PCP. But it was their most popular manga, right?
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
also the this thing they make, the gag manga they make.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. But
I
yeah, I
forgot
think
the
I know
name
what
of
you're
it.
talking about. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There are two manga. Right? I don't know if this got approved or not, but basically there's a grandfather who invents things for his grandson, and he has a
Oh yeah,
crush
I
on
remember that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think that is a story I would have legit watched.
I wonder
I
if
think I would have read all their stories, dude. They're so interesting.
Yeah,
Mm.
Detective Trap was supposed to be like a parallel of Detective Conan or something.
maybe. Are they similar? I've never seen Detective Conan actually.
I don't think it's
I don't
similar.
think it's similar, but then I don't know.
Detective Conan
See,
is
seeing as
like,
how Bakuman had so many references in it,
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't
Could be.
I wouldn't find it this thing.
Detective Conan is about this genius detective who eats like this pill and becomes a kid. So he's stuck as a kid and he helps the this solve crimes and
Oh,
stuff.
okay,
The
then
police, yeah.
oh, no, I thought it would be like a reference because Conan was
Meanwhile,
also a.
finding out who turned him into a kid and trying to become an adult again. What were you saying, Adi? Sorry.
That sounds
I thought
suspiciously like Reborn. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
I thought it was like a reference, Seeing as how there were
Uh,
so many references, this probably would have Detective Trap could have been like a reference to one of the more popular detective style
mm,
mangas.
Yeah, maybe.
probably could be, yeah.
But
Still going
also,
on, holy shit.
also,
Hmm.
what's it called? Oh shit, what's the name? Fukuda's manga, something Kiyoshi.
Oh, dude, you just read it, so you'll have a better idea.
Ah shit, I forgot the
Uh,
name.
Kiyoshi Night
Kiyoshi
Kiyoshi.
Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
love
yeah.
that. I would love to read that. It's a little enigmatic because they don't explain in detail what it's about, but I
Hmm.
would love to read that as well. It sounds like their fights, sounds like their motorbike chases, it sounds like their panty shots. I really want to see what's up over there.
Yeah, it seems like a fun manga.
Yeah. That's
That
something you do. And after you told me about Ichigo 100%, I
Yes.
want to read Aoki's second. The I forgot what it's called. Leaves of the New Leaves, the green leaves of something.
No, I am very bad with names since I
You are
haven't read
very
it in a
bad with
while.
names.
Yeah. But
Yeah, சொல்லு இப்போ சொல்லுமா.
mm, what happened?
One sec, I'm just searching. Oh, Time of Green Leaves.
Time of Greenery. A Time of Greenery, right? It was an ecchi manga.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to read that as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that sounds like something that inspired Ichigo. Yeah, with all the panty shots.
Yep, yep.
Hmm.
I really want to see because that's like a. Uh,
What did you guys think of Color Fusical? That
eh,
I
didn't
have no
like it.
idea what that is.
You know Kogi, right? The this thing, the music star that shows up.
Uh
But
huh.
so he ended up writing a manga called Color Fusical just for the
Okay.
whim of it. Just look it up. They're like panels and shit.
I think I forgot
And
about this
I
one too.
just
Yeah.
brought it in just to see what your
See,
reactions
I
would be.
only
That's all.
remember the important mangas worth remembering.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. Uh, Sorry, yeah. Yeah,
Anyways.
basically, yeah. Aoki's manga. That's something I really want to
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
check out. Anyway,
Basically, we want to read every manga that they've mentioned.
no,
That's
not
what you're saying.
particularly. Not every day. Not everything. Like
Like
Color
the ones that
Physical, I
stood out.
wouldn't want
Yeah.
to.
Of course not.
Hideout
Mm.
Door, I'm not really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even Business Boy Kenichi, the guy, their assistant Takahama, I think
Yeah,
what
yeah.
he makes, even that isn't like particularly interesting. I mean, I'd love to try it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to try manga of any kind, but I'm like, okay, I don't. Even if I don't read that, I don't feel like I'm missing out. But Ashiro
Yeah.
Moto, everything, and AG, everything, and
Everything. Yeah.
this Aoki's
Mm-hmm. These
basically
would be really.
100% of the Bakuman world.
Hmm.
Man,
We
we're gonna
should
have
do
some
it.
fun recommendations at the end of this.
I know, right? Some real fun recommendations. Anyways,
Yeah,
let's
okay.
continue.
Yeah, so manga. We talked about the manga. Let's talk about the mangaka
Hmm.
who this was inspired by. We already went through them. You know the
We
name.
Yeah.
already went through them. Yeah, I already talked about Oba a little, right?
Yeah.
Like about his life, and so even to talk a little more, like if so to talk about Oba a little more, he basically started out, he won the award at 17, and then he spent all these years trying to get somewhere, working with different authors on different mangas. He struggled a lot. He was trying to get to the top, because as we know, the manga industry, either you're at the top or you're like nowhere, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because we talked about the people who struggle every day. And he was 28 when he made like Hikaru no Go, like the anime that became popular.
Hmm.
Repeating myself,
Yeah.
but he worked on a lot of good stuff. Like, do you know he worked on this manga called All You Need Is Skill, which is an amazing manga,
Hmm.
and it inspired a movie called Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise one, which is a good movie, but it was inspired by All You Need Is Skill.
Oh.
All you need is skill.
Yeah, and I had no idea when I saw Edge of Tomorrow. I was like, oh, it's a pretty cool movie. I actually enjoyed it, but I was like, holy shit, it's by Obata. All You Need Is Skill that I read later, and All You Need Is Skill is much better. So you should definitely read that if you like the film.
Okay, which must read it. Yeah, I have
All you
Yeah,
homework this time as
all,
well.
all you need is skill. I thought it was all you
yeah.
need is skill,
No.
like SKILL.
All I need is skill,
Yeah.
yes, but still. And I think uh, also, like, he had issues with his, apparently his assistant, who was Watsuki Nobuhiro. He went on, and while he was working, made a series Rurouni Kenshin, which became popular as hell.
Hmm.
And Obata felt worse because the assistant was finding so much fame when he wasn't recognized yet. So he went to a lot of depression and stuff.
Oh, damn.
But I think his
Damn.
story reflects Mashiro's story also pretty well, and that's why I like Obata a lot, like as an artist, because even though he kept trying, he didn't give up, and even though he reached fame at a later age, like I think he deserves it. All the hard work and practice he's done, and apparently some of the manga like assistants that worked under him right now are like great mangaka,
Huh.
like Yusuke Murata, unpopular mangaka for One Punch Man, who's very popular right now. He was an assistant for Obata.
Hmm.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Yabuki Kentaro. He has a very popular manga called To Love Ru, which is like a very popular like romance manga.
Huh.
So pretty popular mangakas have
Oh yeah,
worked under
it
him.
gets
Yeah.
referenced in Bakuman as well. Tolabru.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's someone's favorite manga,
Mm.
right? I don't remember. Yeah.
One of the editors. But
Mm.
dude, the art style for All You Need Is Skill looks damn good.
Yeah, it's an amazing. Y'all should actually read it. So he's done some pretty. He's
Oh.
like he's had this amazing journey where he's like been through so much and still tried. And I think his peak was also when he had the big exhibition in Niigata, the city where he was born. I remember this. He has this exhibition where he featured all his artworks and illustrations he had made, because he did a lot of cover art for Jump and illustrations. And I wish at the time, I think I told Bru also, dude, we should go to Obata's exhibition. And we were
Yeah,
both like, oh shit, we'll never go there. We missed it. It's done. And we are crying about it.
I remember, dude.
But Obata is and Oba, I don't think we know anything about him. But Obata,
Has he not
I think
ever spoken out or anything like that towards his fans?
no one knows anything about him. Yeah, he's
God
like
damn.
it's a deeply kept secret.
I
Yeah,
thought we didn't even know if it was male or female, like if he was male or
yeah,
female.
we didn't know.
We
Hmm.
just say he because the name sounds masculine.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess Obata sounds masculine as
Yeah.
far as I know. Hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, and we're talking about Oda,
Yeah, Oda
of
of
course,
course is
AG.
he's a prodigy. Yeah,
Yeah, and not
nothing
only
else to
that,
say
but
about
I
him.
would like to say that so obviously Izuma, everyone thinks he's a genius, everyone appreciates him. But I have to say the way the Jump office got changed by Nezuma is, I
Hmm.
think, the same way Oda changed Jump, because One Piece undoubtedly changed the very fabric of Jump, because it gave them a single series that has been going on for 24 years,
Yeah.
and it has never wavered. It's always in the top.
Hmm.
It's literally the best manga in Jump right now.
It is, and I think it's also different from other like shonen jump manga. If we talk about that as a category.
Yeah, I mean, there are, I don't know how many pirate based manga there are actually, but
I'm pretty
I'd
sure
assume.
many one
Even
shots would
talking
have
about
come
the
in.
story and the characters and the style and the way he like talk, like way he writes dialogue and unfolds the story is very different from normal shonen jump manga that
Yeah,
we've read.
that's
I would
true.
say, yeah.
Also, I think Oda has this habit of working backwards from things as well, because he
Hmm.
already has an end in mind before he writes the rest of the story. For example, if I remember,
Hopefully.
I no, I'm sure of it, because I remember he had Mihawk as the ending of One Piece,
Haha.
right? And he said One Piece will be over in 5 years, okay,
Ah,
and Mihawk will be the final boss. They would
Yeah.
defeat Mihawk, and that would be the final thing they did.
hmm.
And then when he reached that point, he was like, I can't have them fight Mihawk so soon and end it. What? So, I mean, I think he's planned out the ending and he's going backwards, and
Hmm.
he does so much
Yeah.
research for everything. He does everything so well. He thinks ahead. He has a lot of foresight about these things, and it really shows you how people at Jump view Oda, right? Because people at Jump in Bakuman view Nizuma like he's
Hmm.
not even human. It's just like they're in awe of him constantly, and I think it's the same for Oda, the way he's actually treated on the floor of Jump,
Yeah.
because most copies of manga sold, one of the most
It's
influential
crazy.
manga, one of the longest running manga,
I think
posters are just there. Even in
yeah.
Oh,
Bakuman, posters of One Piece are there in Jump, in the office. So you can just imagine what a great honor it must have been for these two guys when Death Note actually managed to compete with One Piece.
yeah. It must have been crazy.
Yeah,
I think it's. I think even when he beats it, I think Nizuma just appreciates it, right? He doesn't have like this "oh fuck you" kind of thing, right?
yeah,
He
that's
just
true.
wants to keep
And
he
I
just wants to keep
also
the race
think,
going on. Yeah.
yeah, I also think like I think when Nizuma also differs from Oda is stuck to one manga throughout, but
Yeah, that's
Nizuma
true.
gets bored and he keeps switching. You know,
It is different. He doesn't get bored and keep switching. He handles two manga. He handles Crow and the manga with Iwase at the same
yeah,
time.
Didn't
And
they
then
bring him to like do yellow hit or something in the beginning? But then he's like, no, I'm just going to do crow.
yeah, but that's
Yeah.
because he didn't
Yeah,
like yellow. He liked this thing
yeah,
very much. I wouldn't say he got bored of it,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, okay, I get your
And
point.
yeah, yeah,
But then again, Oda did work on different and manga before eventually settling down with One Piece. So
he did.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
yeah,
Nizuma
Oda
settles down
actually,
with Zombie Gun.
yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
Hmm.
With which ones?
What?
No, the Bruce said that the Oda worked for different mangas as well, right?
Yeah, didn't he work for Akira Toriyama?
Yeah, he worked for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
he also tried a different manga before. I think it was about cowboys or something, if I'm
Hmm.
not wrong. I think Oda tried a different manga first.
Oh, oh. So wait, like, did he also work like an assistant? Did he
Yeah, yeah,
also?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah. Of
course.
course,
Yeah.
Damn. Oh,
he's even like somebody one of his fans after One Piece started getting popularity. One of
uh,
his fans noticed that his name was there in one of the manga he worked on, and they were
uh,
like, "Oh, you worked here! Oh, so cool!" And he actually replied saying, "Yeah, I learned a lot from him. He was very helpful." But man, Oda, I'm telling you, I think the way people view Nizuma through the manga is how people view Oda in real life.
yeah.
It's like you're watching a literal prodigy with an amazing mind for story, walking around and literally just owning everything. Who can come close to him? Nobody's coming
Yeah.
close to him. And even for Death Note, whatever it did, the amount of stuff it did, it
It was.
didn't it couldn't beat One Piece for too
Hmm.
long. They beat One Piece for a few chapters,
For a few chapters, yeah. I
and
think
then
when it was at its peak, yeah. After that, One Piece
yeah,
still reigns.
why One Piece still reigns. Death Note ended so
Hmm.
long. No hate on Death
Yeah.
Note. I love the whole thing, but even then they couldn't do much to stop the inevitable tide that is Oda
Hmm.
here. So
I
I
think the
think Nizuma is
only
Yeah.
way something is coming back on the top is when, unfortunately, One Piece will end. Whenever that happens, and
Oh, my
even
bad. He didn't work for Toriyama. It's like his biggest influence and his favorite series. My bad. Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
But
I
yeah,
just saw that. But yeah, I think what Audi you were saying.
I don't know, fine. Just
okay.
as an
Who?
afterthought.
Hmm.
Yeah, Audi was saying it like the people will only be able to reach One Piece's level after One Piece stops because nothing can reach its level while it's still
Yeah, that's
active.
true. Hmm.
And I don't know, like, I mean, if One Piece does end, obviously Oda has One Piece's ending in mind. Do you think he'll come out with something after that?
Two Piece.
Well,
Two piece.
yes, the expected sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's it.
you guys laugh, but there's actually something called Two Piece where someone
Yeah.
is making a parallel One Piece manga and it's supposed to be a gag.
Ah,
My God. I think Oda can just retire after One Piece and chill out, dude.
I don't think he will. I don't think Oda can retire.
He can, but I don't know if he'll finish it. That's my issue. I hope he finishes it.
Yeah, of course he
I
will.
think he will finish it and then retire. I
I
don't think.
hope he has time.
He
I
has
hope
a
he
lot of
lives
time.
longer.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
will. He's really taking care of his health nowadays.
Hmm. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and even the Ichigo 100% author, I keep forgetting
Hmm.
her name. I'm so sorry, but
Kawashita Mizuki.
yeah, like my God, that is a really good addition. Aoki and her, like I can really see how they're similar. You know, the panty shots thing really it just drove it home. I was like, yes, it
Yeah, I
all
know,
makes
right?
sense now.
It's I think I don't know if they were. I don't know how. It's interesting to assume how connected they were in real life than the story,
Yeah, I know,
because we
right?
have no idea. Yeah, but it would be really cool if all these guys are actually connected so well in real life also, or if they were just references they took. I'm not sure.
I mean, I would like to think that they were
Hmm.
all
Well, I mean, yeah,
connected.
they're working under the same roof technically.
Yeah,
They would
that's
meet
true.
each other at one point just for like understanding each other's work styles. It would make
Hmm.
sense.
Um, what else? Who else is
Okay.
there? Who else is an inspiration for someone else?
I think for the mentioned mangakas, that's it, right? If we talk about the references, at least that we know about and we are aware of right now. Hmm?
Okay. Also, can we just take a minute to mention the number of manga that's been put into this number of references made? Okay.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. Oh,
Like,
dude, another. Sorry to
yeah,
disturb you. So the university that Aoki went to,
yeah.
the name of the, it's called Toho
Yeah,
University.
Toho University.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same one that Light and L went to in Death Note.
Oh shit! It is.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
connected.
crazy. Speaking of references,
What? Okay, I need to Google this right
Oh my
now.
god.
more dead air.
It's okay. It's an actual university. What?
Yeah, is it an
Oh,
actual university?
oh yeah.
What's the spelling? I'm getting the spelling
Toho.
T
wrong.
O and space O H.
Okay, I put Toho.
Oh, Toho. Yeah, Toho is an actual university, but Toho. Yeah,
Toho. Like ho-oh?
yeah,
Basically.
it's a universe equivalent of Tokyo University.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we know.
Oh my God! Yeah, they do go to that university.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, dude.
My God! Oh, I did. I read that chapter like 2 days ago. How did I not make the connection?
I know, right? I just came across it when we were
Oh
talking about Aoki. I was like, oh yeah, shit.
my God! Okay, yeah,
Hmm.
Now we're going to read the manga and find Nico somewhere in there as well. We're going to lose our minds even more.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. Also, yeah. Wanted to talk about. I forgot what I was saying now.
Awkward silence.
Awkward silence until I can think of what I was going to
Dead
ask.
air. Boy, you were talking about mangakas, inspirations.
Yeah, and
We
then
talked about
We can just
Oda
we can just
and
talk about like lifestyle and shit,
references,
huh?
and then I interrupted you because I
yeah,
just found something
my
out.
God. Okay, yeah, fine. We can talk about the what it is to be a mangaka because
Hmm.
Sid, you and I, we thought being a mangaka was an easy job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when we first read it, we were like, we can do this. And then as we read Bakuman more and more, we're like, oh, okay, shit, it really is hard. I mean, that didn't stop us from trying. So props to
Yeah.
us for trying it either way.
I think we've tried multiple times and we still haven't succeeded. And we
Yeah,
may in the future again. Who
yes,
knows?
and we shall reveal it to everybody, and you have to read it, and you have to give us good ratings, and then we'll have an episode
Exactly.
about our own manga.
Exactly.
Weeb
Very
101
original.
making if Audi does not read our manga. If that
But Audi
happens,
just walked away, dude. For the
yeah,
people who are listening, Audi walked away.
he's sitting in a video call with us, and he just left. He doesn't want to read our manga.
Yeah. He's
Okay,
like,
he's
you
back.
guys talk. I'm leaving. He's back, pretend it never happened. Shh. Just dead air.
Hello. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, you have to read our manga.
Yeah.
I have to read your manga.
Yeah, we are going to make a manga, and if you don't read that, if you're not like just a full on expert on that manga, we shall be very, very disappointed
Mm-hmm.
and very hurt as your friends.
Yeah.
Is it worth the time?
Oh my God, Audi asking the real questions. It's okay, Audi. We'll rely on
That
our fans. We don't need you. Hey,
yeah,
Right.
right,
Audi, we
Yes.
right,
don't need
weebs
you.
who follow us.
All. How many overviews do we have?
We don't reveal that. No, no, no. It's a trick. I will not fall for it. Anyway,
A
yeah,
couple of views, a couple of them.
a couple of
I
them
will
are
say
good. Yeah.
that. A couple.
Also,
Maybe Bruce 14 accounts, but a couple.
hey, please, it's becoming obvious. That's my 14 accounts. Please, somebody else write my damn page.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think.
So, okay, one thing I really wanted to talk about was the message the manga sends out. Right now, after a
Mm-hmm.
brief conversation with Audi about this topic recently, I realized that I think we have all gotten different messages out of the manga. So I'm going to ask you, Sid, what message did you get from this manga? What do you think the manga was trying to tell you as you read it?
I think I talked about this in the beginning also of the podcast, but even to talk about more in detail, I think what I got from the manga was like basically like, you don't have to follow what everyone's saying. You don't have to do what you don't like. Just do whatever you want. Go for it. Balls to the wall, but with with some knowledge, and just try as hard as you can. And I think you'll achieve it, which is what my innocent self thought. But
Mm-hmm.
even though now, as we've grown up and things have changed and life sucks and blah blah blah, and things have become harder. Thank you, Adi, for interrupting me.
Sorry.
We would still say, I think I would still say, we still have that fire somewhere. I think rereading Bakuman, I think rekindles it for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I don't think it's dead, but I think Bakuman also was contributed to that fire that started in us to do something on our own, to make something ourselves. I think that's the biggest inspiration the biggest message I would say that I get from the manga. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Audi, what about you?
Hmm.
What do you think?
I say that uh, everyone starts off at ground zero, right? And we throughout reading the whole manga, you get this impression that every single artist that you see is a professional and that they are just out of this world. But at some point, they also had to start, right? So I the message I got anyways was that if I'm going to want to do something, it will take some time. It will take a lot of time. And even though in the manga it shows like there have been a lot of skips of time and it happens really fast, in reality there will be years that will go by, and it'll you have to learn. You have to get your base, and it can be just about anything, as Sid said. So
Hmm.
long as you have a passion for it and you are ready to learn more about it, you will generally become good at it at some point. And the persistence would be the one thing that I got out of it. These guys stuck on to what they did. They didn't get swayed over by people saying things like, yeah, you shouldn't do manga, you should just stick to the regular routine that you have. And frankly, it's not something that any one of us here have followed since we were in school. We just like to do our own shit, and then obviously we get scolded for it, but then we just play it off. And then we continue doing our own shit. We don't really care about it. And it's that persistence that you want to keep going on, no matter
Hmm.
what it is you do. It could be, fuck it, Sid does animation, I'm doing 3D modeling, Brew could be writing.
No,
But
but
you
I
get the
think,
idea, right? It's
yeah,
persistence is key.
exactly. We just, I think, even like we talk about this when we do projects, right? I think when we like, the first thing we say is like, yeah, let's just do it, let's do it. We
Hmm.
figure out the problems and if we can do it or not later, or if we are doing it. But we always like agree straight up because it's something exciting, and you say like, yeah, let's just do it. What's stopping us? Let's try it out, right?
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
I'll
the
say that.
what's stopping us part comes and hits us pretty hard in the
It is a
face.
Yeah,
slate that hurts, but still,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's the let's do it attitude that's
yeah.
pretty, yeah, that's important.
And
But yeah,
more often than not, we'll just think of many things before, and rather than doing it.
Hmm.
And that's what discourages many people from doing what it is they like.
I don't think many people get to the let's do it stage.
Yeah, they just think
I'm not
about
sure. Hmm.
shit like, yeah, like these guys didn't think about what the repercussions would be if they defied people like Iwase, their parents' wishes, and shit like that. They just said, fuck it, you want to do manga, I'll also do manga. Let's just try to make a
Yeah.
hit series in the end. And eventually
although
they got to
although
it.
Adi, I would say that you're choosing the wrong people to say everyone starts at ground zero. They did not start at ground zero. Have you seen his drawings? Have you seen Mashiro's drawings at the start?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a
that's true.
genius. Yeah.
It's
No,
And
almost
have
like
you
if it was
seen his
drawn by a
manga
pro
studio?
mangaka.
yeah,
Dude, that manga studio,
Yeah,
holy shit, that blew my mind. I
that
wanted to
yeah.
be
I
there.
would pay to sit
Oh,
inside and just read all the manga. They
Uh-huh.
I
have
know, right?
Joe. They have Joe in there. I want
Oh,
Joe.
dude, I would just sleep. I would live there, dude. I don't care. I wouldn't leave that place.
Yeah,
That
I
was
know.
paradise when we first saw that.
It was
Anyways, yeah.
paradise all through it. Did you notice
Yeah.
every time they have an issue published in Jump, they add it to their collection. So basically, that collection just keeps increasing day by day.
My God. Oh,
Wait, in the
we
studio or
need
in the
that.
office?
In the studio,
Oh,
The
okay.
studio.
I'm pretty sure the office has at least
Of
one
every
edition of every
issue that
Jump.
they have.
Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
My God, that would be a warehouse, a
They
huge
have
fucking warehouse.
all the drafts and everything. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, we did try that manga and we did. we did think the same thing. Like, we can do it. We should send
Mm-hmm.
a manga in
Mm-hmm.
for Jump. Actually, if you remember the last time we tried it, we were wondering how to speak to them, and you were like, "I think I know enough Japanese to talk. I'll talk."
Big mistake.
And we were going to call Jump, but then I was waking up too late every day, and we would miss the
Yeah.
deadline every single day.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Mm.
We tried. We tried.
But
Didn't we email them or did we? I think we must have emailed
I think
them
we must have
because we
emailed them.
usually email people without
Yeah, we
caring what
don't. Yeah,
they'll
we don't. We
say.
don't think about it. We just send out emails, and then we're like, okay,
Yeah.
let's see what happens. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I see. Aside from the ground zero part, Audi, I do agree with you. Persistence is something that is being taught,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it's like as you said, Sid. It's about that. Don't give up. You can do it. Even if the world is against you, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's just constant motivation to do something. But again,
Mm.
also there's a lot of innocent love being shown, and I don't know. This
That's
is
true.
this is the ideal version of love, is what the authors think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of innocent love. It's shown in a very nice way. It's not just like anyone can make it seem innocent, right? You can use a different
Yeah, they can use
hundred
the
different
cliches and
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
but they've
Mm.
shown it in a very nice light, and they've shown it in a very interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they want this sort of love to be a more prominent thing, and it's not only the love between Mashiro and Miho, or
Yeah.
Takagi and Miyoshi. It's also between everybody, how they treat each other as friends,
Mm.
how they actually help out when they, like, for example,
Mm-hmm.
when Mashiro goes to the hospital, everybody
Yeah.
says, and the editor says he's going to be on hiatus. Everybody says we will go on hiatus until you get this guy back on to Jump.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't think that sort of solidarity is there in the real world. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think
So,
it's
I
as
think
common a thing in the real
no. I
world.
think what you're talking about with relationships, like maybe it like companionship or like friends or like girlfriends or anything. I think it's still too like fictional and perfect for the real
Yeah, yeah,
world.
yeah,
of course. But that's what I'm
So
saying. It's an
that's why I don't
ideal
think
version of it.
yeah, I don't think it's something
it's
we can like try to achieve. I don't know. I don't
it plays
Can we
out as a
not? Can we
classical
not?
romance.
I'm
Because
not sure. It all
because
seems it's
if you
because
make a change,
yeah,
somebody else might make a change, and that might start a chain reaction where it might things might improve a bit, if not by a lot.
exactly. It's something that's still too
It's not
it's
impossible, but at our
yeah.
age, everyone is just very cynical for this shit. I don't think a pure
Let's
romance
start
like
with
this.
trying to leave our houses.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. I think that's what they were saying. I think they had too
I
much of
mean,
innocence in the manga
Yeah, I agree.
it works
for
out at
what.
that age because you don't know what you're getting into, and you kind of think that any romance would be perfect and it would be bookish, like the shit you read. So it makes sense
Yeah,
that
dude.
it would play out that way when he's 15 to 18. But at our ages, I don't think it would be possible to make that change as such.
Yeah, of course
I
it
think
is.
it's still possible, but
Very,
I
very
don't know
dim
about
chance.
I think it should be possible. Actually,
yeah.
I'm with them over there.
Hmm.
That's what life should be
Mm-hmm.
like. They show a very
It's
nice.
still very utopian, but I think it's possible. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
of
say it's
course.
impossible. Yeah,
Yeah, because this doesn't rely on governments needing to not be corrupt or something like that,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
This just relies on
On
regular people
people,
being nice to each other,
Yeah.
exactly.
which
Yeah.
I think is
Mm,
definitely possible.
mm.
The internet might have made it worse, but yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
Anyway, so what about recommendations? And okay, I'm going to start this time. Okay, all the
Sure. Go
recommendations.
ahead. Yeah,
Now, in the manga, they talk about Ashtano Joe, which I think everybody should read. It's a sports
definitely.
manga. It's about boxing. It's one of the most iconic manga in manga history. Ashtano Joe should be read. Already, have you read Ashtano Joe?
No.
Already, you have to read Ashtano Joe,
Have to read.
Yeah.
Yes.
and it's beautiful. And they actually make quite a few references to it, because there's also a scene where Mashiro gets called by Miho, and he calls up Takagi and says, I feel like Joe in his last fight," and
Hmm.
Takagi gets really
Oof.
concerned because Sid knows what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Exactly.
I also know what you're talking
Oh,
about
okay,
because
you
he
know that.
mentions it
No
Okay.
in the last
spoilers.
chapter. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
And even I think when he calls up his dad, he talks about Ashtano Joe. It's apparently his favorite manga in the manga as well. Well,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. So Ashtano Joe, that's definitely one of my recommendations. Other things they mentioned, Beelzebub, which they say won the Tezuka Award. I don't know which
They do.
they
Yeah. Yeah.
won a
Mm-hmm.
Golden Globe Award,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It The Beelzebub is an amazing manga. It's a very shonen, very funny,
Very shonen, very funny. Yeah,
and already read it recently. So we're going to have an upcoming episode
episode.
about it sometime. So you should read it and be prepared. Okay, and then we're going to have to go into Death Note. Obviously, if you should read Death Note after reading this. One Piece. You have to read One
One
Piece.
Piece, please.
What else do I got? I think that's pretty much it. Sid, what do you
Hmm.
have?
I would say if you like Oba and Obata, you can read their newest. You can read Platinum End. Give that a try
Oh yeah,
because that's
Platinum.
their
Platinum
newest
Man
collaboration.
is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you can try that out. You can read Oba's old work. Like you can read Hikaru no Go if you want. It's pretty good. You can read All You Need Is Skill. These are pretty good mangas, I would say. And I think if that's it because I'm only thinking Bakuman and we are talking about Bakuman. So I'm only
Yeah,
going to
you need
talk
to
about
read
these
Ichigo
artists and their work.
100%.
Oh yeah,
Everybody
sorry.
needs
Holy
to
shit.
read Ichigo 100%. Audi, have you read
Read
Ichigo
Ichigo 100%.
100%?
No.
Oh my god, that's going to be our
My
next
god,
episode, man.
Adi.
We're changing plans. Next
We're
episode is
changing
going to
plan.
be Ichigo 100%.
Ichigo 100%. We're definitely going to do an episode on that. It was also a very important manga. I think we read when we were at that stage when we were reading mangas and we were
Yeah,
young.
my god, it defines one era of manga. It's crazy.
Exactly. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, I think these are good recommendations. Yeah.
And but these are varying recommendations. Like you can,
Mm-hmm.
it's all over the place. It covers a lot of genres. So you'll
Cover
be
a lot of
also
genres. Yeah.
another manga which has been mentioned multiple times on Bakuman is Reborn. Katekiyoshi Hitman Reborn.
Mm-hmm. Read that. Yeah.
It actually shows an amazing way, what do I call it? I can't give a spoiler, but okay, it basically they talk about it in Bakuman and they say how amazing the manga is for the route it took to reach its peak,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really amazing. So Reborn is definitely one
Definitely
manga that
read
actually,
Reborn. You can
yeah.
talk about. You can read anything we've mentioned like throughout the manga. I think they're all good. Like if you want, you can read Inuyashiki. If you want, you can read like Pun Pun. If you want, these all really good mangas.
And it's not restricted to any one genre again.
Exactly.
It's
Mm-hmm.
overall. But yeah,
I think
any
that's it.
closing
Yeah.
thoughts?
You all should also read the upcoming manga by Sid and Bru.
Hey,
Yeah, what? What are you talking about? Dude, never
yeah,
heard of that.
Are you sure?
Never
we
gonna
cracked
hear
the
about
jokes
it
here.
either.
Shh.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
Audie's final thoughts are over. Sid, any final thoughts?
yeah. I would like to change topics and talk about something that we read about today,
Okay,
about
yes,
a website that shaped our uh, interest in anime and manga since when
yes,
we were young. Can we talk about that in detail?
we can.
Can we shed a
Uh,
tear and cry a little, bro?
we can. Announce it.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think today I woke up in the morning. I told bro about it when we were talking about this. We found out that Kiss Anime was taken down forever for good,
I don't know if it's
and
forever. I shall believe it will come back someday, but it is down at least for the foreseeable future,
yeah, and
which
that hurts
means
us. Hmm.
we can't see. I mean, okay, maybe Kiss Anime is not a totally legit site, but
This is how we
Yeah,
get flagged.
it was one of the best sites that we
I miss
had.
playing those matching memory games.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
Yes, yes.
but I think we watched. I don't think we'd be exposed to as much if we didn't have websites and sources like that.
That's
Because
true.
where we live in India, like I think you can talk about after this. Like we don't. We as kids, like we got the general like Pokemon, Dragon Ball, all that stuff, right? But we couldn't go deep into it as like
Yeah,
Japan, I
we
guess
didn't get One
America was
Piece.
exposed to. Yeah,
We didn't get
we
Bleached.
would never know One Piece would exist. We would never find like I don't know if you'd ever find Bakuman also. We'd never be able to read manga.
That's
Forget
true.
watching anime. Right. So basically, even
Piracy
though
was the
if
only option we had.
piracy was the option and you may see it as bad or good depending on your perspective, but even in our situation where we were like as kids, there was no way we could even afford it if we had the money, like order it internationally or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know. As kids,
one volume of Naruto was
yeah.
thousands of rupees, and we just
First of
can't
all,
afford it.
we weren't even
Thousands.
exposed to it, so we didn't know about its existence, about what manga was.
Yeah,
So I think this exposed us to that. So it's still very important, but it's sad that it's leaving, and of course things change. But
Yeah,
yeah, Brew, what do you think?
I think that such sites are very important because it helps
Mm-hmm.
spread something that might have not gone to that area ever.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
I've seen people in my remote area of living, which I shall not name because of you stalkers, but I've
yeah.
seen people walk around with anime T-shirts, and the only thing I do is I stop and I'm like, "Hey man, nice shirt," and they're usually like, "Hey, thank you." And I don't mean only men wear it. I just
Mm-hmm.
said, "Hey man," as in gender neutral. Anyway, I've seen I've seen a lot of people.
Can't hear you, Brew.
You can't hear me?
I can.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people wear anime shirts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure they're watching it illegally. There's no way they're watching it legally, and it's
No way,
not. It's
dude.
not even like I. It's not even like I'm trying to insult anyone. There's just no possible
Mm-hmm.
avenue to watch it legally. Even downloaded the Jump Plus app, the official app
Yeah.
from Jump, and it's not caught up at all. It's so behind. It's just
And we just did that recently. We just downloaded
yeah, really
recently.
recently, and there is no way to actually keep up with updated manga quickly.
Yeah. And it never, like, we talked about it, right? The first Japanese animation to officially release was Tenki no Ko.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it doesn't release in India.
yeah,
And remember, we went to the first, like, Comic Con. It was just in a small room, remember, in
yeah.
the south of
And
Mumbai?
people came and told me I had a good cosplay when I made it on my own. If you know anything about me, I suck at art.
Yeah.
I made it.
But
I made a Naruto cosplay where I had a plate on my face. A plate.
yeah, he was Toby.
It was a plate.
It was, see, but the whole community we met there, right? The anime community, I think the Mumbai Anime Club that we
Yeah,
got into and everything. I think all of that, I think that happened because of pirated
yeah. I
websites,
mean, we wouldn't have a community without
Yeah,
pirated
piracy created
manga.
that in such a niche place. So I think, like, we are talking about the positives and negatives of, like, piracy, like spreading and not. But I think yeah, we talked about how it's only like it's good things, right? Because you're getting more exposure and people like us are like discussing and talking
No, I
about
can
it,
give
and
you
it's
a good
influencing our lives.
I
Yeah.
can give you a good example right now. Okay,
Hmm.
you might not be able to see it, guys, but Sid and Audie can see the figurines I have on my window
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah. Hmm.
and the T-shirt I'm wearing is a Pokemon T-shirt,
It is.
and I have a poster of Minato which I stole from Sid hanging right on my window.
Hmm.
I am giving back to Japan. Those were from
Yeah.
Japan. Those figurines are from Japan, but I would have never been able to even realize that a world existed unless I actually pirated it in the first place. So while I
Exactly.
might have, and it's not like I'm not going to buy it when I get the money and if I get the opportunity, I am going to buy One Piece. I am going to buy Naruto. I am going to buy
Yeah.
maybe not Haikyuu. Not that it's a disappointment, but I'm going to buy all these different things. I'm going to
Yeah.
enjoy holding on to it so that I can pass it on to people as well.
Mm.
So I don't think piracy is bad. Okay, in this case, I don't think piracy is bad.
For
I
us,
think
situationally, yeah, I don't
yeah,
think so.
I
Yeah.
think
I
Kiss
mean,
anime and Kiss manga were really valuable sources. Another
Hmm.
point is that they kept very old stuff that we can't find as easily. I
Yeah.
watched Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop on that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's also hard for our newbie V body to discover stuff. Even though there are other websites, but Kiss Anime was, the
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 website.
base.
best.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think the depth to which we have anime in India, like legally
Yeah.
serialized or legally as a show, would be Kochikame, and that was about it. Like that was the one reference I could find in Bakuman was Kochikame that I knew
Yeah,
of.
that was legendary. Mm.
But otherwise, we have shit like Doraemon, we have Shin-chan, and even those are in shitty Hindi dubs.
Yeah, that
And once we
it's like
like that was all I knew up until I realized that I could just watch it in Japanese and I could read the
Yeah.
subtitles and it would keep the feel of the story as that was originally made. And I don't know, like it is kind of sad that. Did you say that the site was permanently taken down, or will it ever come back up again?
They
hopefully it'll
say
come back again.
permanently. Even on the website, it says it's permanently taken down,
Then
but
again,
I don't know.
Kick-Ass Torrent said
Hopefully.
it would come back and it never did. So
Yeah, it
hey,
never
we don't
did.
use that site. What?
What's
What?
that, dude?
Yeah,
Don't
what's
make up
that?
imaginary
Yeah, I
things.
know, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are
Anyway,
torrents, dude? But it's
It's a
yeah,
shame.
basically it's important. I think it's important to culture.
I
Like
mean,
we're talking about order and disorder, right? There always
yeah.
needs to be disorder, which
Yeah,
balances it
I
out.
mean, if such
Mm.
sites are being shut down, the least
Yeah.
that can be done, official methods have to be released to countries like ours. where there is a fan following, but we don't have the
Mm-hmm.
way to pay for it.
Yeah.
We don't have like Netflix. Netflix actually
Netflix
cut
is doing good
piracy by
things
so
now.
much, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When it first came out, Indians just flooded to Netflix. We loved it, and people stopped like most of the people I knew stopped pirating everything
Yeah.
because now they were like, we have ways to pay for it, but manga and anime there is just no way. Also, if you think about it, even the snacks that we buy are being technically illegally sold in India.
Yeah.
Japanese snacks, we got Pocky, and that is actually is technically an illegal store.
That
You're
is
not supposed to
true.
be selling that, but we buy it from there. So everything Japanese,
Don't give out our
somehow,
sources.
yeah,
Shh.
it's somehow illegal. But yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, until I can start giving back to them in some way, I'm glad to do whatever I get it in whichever way I can because I know one day I am going to pay it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really important, I think. But what can we do? We have no control over this.
Yeah, and if
We'll
anyone,
still find a way.
if
There are
anyone
other
works in
websites.
law enforcement and you're listening to this, that was all a
Mm-hmm.
joke.
Yeah, we're joking. This is not true.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mm.
so as we close this quite long episode of Weeb 101, hopefully we have
Yep,
longer episodes in the future. But Bakuman was just something really special to us.
that's true.
We shall wind it down and Sid. Next time, what do we have?
Next time, we're talking about something very interesting, very popular, Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh my God, we're gonna have
Nice.
another
Yes,
long
it's
episode.
gonna be amazing. I'm excited for this one
So
too. Yeah.
be prepared for
Mm.
our Full Metal Alchemist episode. That's going to be 3 4 hours long, I guess. But yeah, let's
Probably.
go.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, this is Weeb101 and I'm Bru.
I'm Sid.
And I'm Adi.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye. Here comes the.
Sayonara.
That was Audi, by the
No, that wasn't me at all.
way. Anyways, okay.
Cut.
Three, two, one.
Cut.